He swung on and hit the air to right field deep. And you can't forget about this one. Blaze Salter hits number 5, and the Newport Gulls retake the lead.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Gone! A grand slam! To left power, right tower power, and the Gulls walk off in the 15th inning!
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Come on, steps in the back for one out, throws to first, and he's in time, a double play. And that one is gone! Joey Hafner! A high drive, left field deep. Bolzano going back, looking up. This ball is a two-run homer. T.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his first year covering Newport Gulls baseball, here is play-by-play broadcaster Darren Zaslow.
With the Major League Baseball draft concluding last week, we would like to congratulate all 22 former Newport Gulls who were drafted in the 2017 Major League Baseball draft. We wish them the best of luck as they embark on their professional careers. How you doing, everybody? Darren Zaslow with you here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Newport Gulls pregame show starts with you right now. Newport looking to bounce back after a 10-8 loss on the road at Valley. Last night, Newport set a season high in hits with 10, but the Gulls ended up falling to those Blue Sox out in Holyoke, Massachusetts. The Plymouth Pilgrims here tonight looking to continue their success, at least in this recent stretch, with a 3-2 win over Mystic last night. Newport looking for win number 4. Plymouth trying to get back to 500. They enter the ball game at 4-5. It is Tiverton Little League night here at the ballpark. 250 free Newport Gulls tattoos being handed out before the ball game as the Gulls host the Plymouth Pilgrims here tonight at 6:35 p.m. The Newport Gulls pregame show starts right now.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. I'm here with Stanford Cardinal Jack Little. Jack, from Las Vegas, Nevada, you play in Palo Alto. What brings you to the East Coast?
I'm just out here for the summer to play with the Gulls. Excited to have a great summer of baseball and make new friends, new teammates, and have a great season.
Now, you just finished up your first year at Stanford. The Cardinal hosted the NCAA Regional Tournament. How was that?
It was pretty exciting. It's incredible to be one of those 8 national seeds and host. The atmosphere was incredible. Tons of fans came out. It was a great series. Unfortunately, we lost to Fullerton, but best of luck to them in Omaha. But it was a great experience overall.
And in your first outing here at Newport last Thursday against New Bedford, 16-inning game, you came in basically straight off the plane, and you went 3 innings, struck out 8 batters. What was working for you?
I was just out there trying to get innings, have a good first outing, just trying to throw strikes. Good chemistry with the catcher, fastballs, curveballs. I wasn't actually expecting to pitch because they had told me I was going to throw the next day, but it was nice to get out there and get my first outing.
So what are you looking forward to most about Newport, off the field too?
I'm definitely looking forward to meeting all these great guys out here, new teammates. Definitely getting to experience the area and all that it has to offer.
All right, great. Well, best of luck this season, Jack. The pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. I'm Shannon O'Connell here with Gabe Snyder for the Gulls Insider. So, Gabe, it's your second year here. Are you excited to be back in Newport for another summer?
Oh, yeah. It's fun to be back and see some familiar faces, so I'm glad to be back.
What was your favorite memory from last season?
Definitely just hanging with the guys and just getting to know everybody pretty well, so it's always fun.
So how was your season at Wright State this year?
We had a good season, won a lot of good games, and lost in the conference championship, but we had a good run.
All right, so you just came in, you were waiting to hear from the MLB draft. So what did you do in preparation for either being drafted or ended up coming here?
I did a lot of working out and hitting on the field and just fielding just all the little stuff, trying to get ready for it.
All right, so now that you're back in Newport, what are you looking forward to most? What are you most excited about doing again?
It's good to see some more live pitching. It's been a few weeks since the season ended, so I'm glad to you be back in the action.
All right, and like I said, it's your second year, so what advice do you have for the first-year NECBL players?
Just have fun and relax. Nothing to be too worried about.
All right, and are you trying to win the NECBL Home Run Derby again?
If I'm in it, then yes. We'll see what happens.
All right, well, thanks, Gabe. Have a good game.
Thank you.
Pregame show continues next, right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
I'm Meredith Peppers, and welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. I'm here with Maddie. We're going to ask her a couple questions about the camp that she runs for the Newport Gulls. So, Maddie, I know summer camp started today. How did it feel to have it be running it back up again?
It felt good. We had not as many kids come as tomorrow because Portsmouth ended school today, so we're hoping to get more kids tomorrow. And I'm also looking forward to just being in a routine, like every day going to camp, coming to the games. I'm glad all the players are starting to get here and we're all getting in a routine, so that's good.
That is good. What do you think the kids learn most here at the summer camp?
I really think it's nice, like real world experience, kind of like they're used to working with little leaguers their age, so it's nice for them to get perspectives of like professional coaching staff and the Gulls players who also play obviously at D1 schools. So I think that gives them a good experience too.
So what are some of the requirements for the summer camp, and where can parents and children learn more about the camp?
So we take boys and girls who are interested in learning baseball, and if you play softball, you're more than welcome. I used to go when I was younger. Ages 6 to 12, and we have registration forms online. You just have to go to the Newport Gulls website, and I think it's under community relations or community, and you can print out the registration form and send it to our P.O. box, and then you're all set. And registration is $90.
Awesome. And then just finally, what do you think the kids and the Newport Gulls players like the most about the summer camp?
I think the kids like just being with the players the most because I think it's pretty cool because all the players are from different parts of the country, so they all get to talk about where they're from and stuff. And the players, I think they like to just get integrated with the community and everything, so I think it's a good experience for both of them.
Yeah, they definitely like that the most. And the pregame show continues next here in the NECBL broadcast.
Welcome back here on the Newport Gulls pregame show. It's time for the Broadcasters Roundtable. Darren Zaslow with you here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. To my left is Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck, and to my right, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly. Dave, I'm going to start with you. It's a Newport team right now, 3-6 overall entering play here tonight. Offensively, it's a team that has had its up and downs. Newport, as a team, hitting 190 on the season. That is the second worst in the NECBL. Some new faces, some new players entering this lineup. Do you think they have been good for this ball club thus far?
I think it's going to be an interesting game tonight because we, like you said, got a lot of new faces, and some of them have not necessarily swung a bat in a week, 2 weeks. You know, they finished up their college season and then maybe took a couple weeks at home. So obviously great ball players coming from great schools. We have a couple of Vanderbilt guys, Stanford guys, but it'll be interesting to see how they do just jumping right back into a wood bat league.
Some of those new players that you mentioned, Ty Duvall from Vanderbilt, Andrew Dashbach from Stanford. Dashbach hit his first home run of the season against Valley last night in a 10-8 loss on the road in Holyoke, Massachusetts to the Blue Sox. For Newport, though, they set a season high with 10 hits. Do you think that's a positive that this team can take away from that ball game?
Definitely a positive moving forward because, like you said, it's been such a problem getting runs across the plate. Timely hitting has been such an issue for these guys, but pitching has been good, and then against Valley, they were unable to keep the Blue Sox off the scoreboard. It'd be nice to see them put together both at one. I know that was kind of the storyline last year, being able to pitch and hit at the same time. I'd love to see them put together a complete game tonight.
Newport looking to record multiple victories for the first time this season. Of course, they're going to have to do that with a victory tonight and then potentially tomorrow on the road at Danbury. Dave, what's it going to take for this team to play consistent baseball?
Confidence, a lot of confidence. And, you know, once you start hitting, things start to roll. You know, you see your teammates hitting, and then you get up there and you're just as confident in them, and you're confident that they're going to be able to pick you up if things don't go well. So again, it's early. We're about 9 games into the season. Just look for them to keep trusting the process. That's the biggest thing. Everybody here can hit. Everybody here is a great baseball player. Confidence, trust the process, and things will turn around.
Quinn, Plymouth 4-5 entering play here tonight. Plymouth's last time out, a 3-2 victory over the Mystic Schooners. Talk to me about that ball game, and obviously that was a close one against Mystic.
Yeah, it absolutely has. All 3 games with Mystic so far this season have been very close ones. The biggest thing for the Pilgrims is that their pitching has been really stellar, but like you said, we're trailing Newport as the worst offense in the league right now. They've been keeping themselves in games with home runs, really. That's how the offense is coming. It was another home run by Brandon Perez in the 7th inning that got it done against Mystic to win it 3-2 after kind of a back-and-forth game, a run an inning each. And you know, that'll take you so far, but eventually you need the bats to come around. You start to get up over that Mendoza line as a team and hopefully piece it together, because you're wasting some good pitching right now. And it was just a good win to get back on the winning side. You know, 5 straight losses before that to get the groove back on for the team. You know, it's a good momentum thing, and hopefully they can carry it. A day off, they're fresh coming in here to Newport, and you know, we'll see what they can do tonight.
Once again, the offenses take center stage. Plymouth with a 189 team batting average. That is the worst in the New England Collegiate Baseball League. Quinn, what have been some of the roots of those offensive struggles?
You know, I think it's mostly just trying to do too much up at the plate, trying to hit situationally rather than just swinging freely. You know, if they can just go up there and take their hacks, they got a lot of talent, and I'm sure they'll be all right.
Newport with a 190 team batting average. That's the second worst. Quinn, do you see a low-scoring affair here tonight?
Yeah, I absolutely do. A lot of those times it sets up where, you know, it's a surprising thing. All of a sudden, these two teams with terrible offenses getting going against each other, and it's a high-scoring affair. But just given the last time these two teams met, a 2-1 victory for Plymouth, I'd expect much of the same. You know, a couple good starters going Ben White for the Pilgrims, and obviously your guy going Palmer. It should be a close matchup, and I'd expect very few runs scored tonight.
The Southern Division class as the Newport Gulls host the Plymouth Pilgrims here at 6:35 p.m. David Palmer gets the ball for the Gulls, the right-hander out of the University of New Haven. He's 0-1 with a 2.08 ERA here on Tiverton Little League night. For Dave Peck and Quinn Kelly, I'm Darren Zaslow. Don't go anywhere. The Newport Gulls pregame show continues next right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here on the Newport Gulls pregame show. Darren Zaslow here with Newport Gulls assistant coach Eric Degree here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Eric, right now this Newport team 3-6, so 9 games through. What has stood out to you thus far?
Well, our pitching is starting to come around. Last night, unfortunately, we weren't able to put things together, but what was great last night is our hitting came around. We were able to score 10 runs and put the ball in play.
Newport with 10 hits in that ball game. That's a season high thus far, 8 runs. Like Eric mentioned, a 10-8 loss at Valley. Offensively, a positive game for this team, fair to say?
Absolutely. We've struggled a little bit here at the beginning, but now things are coming together. Guys are getting comfortable with the wooden bats, and they're seeing more pitching, and they have the approach to be able to go up and understand what they need to do to put the ball in play.
The biggest thing thus far has been consistency with this team. What do you tell these players to play consistent baseball?
Well, first of all, it's a grind. These guys have been back at school after Christmas break. They've gone through their seasons in the spring. They've now come here to continue to play baseball. We just started camps, so now the kids are working camps. To be able to be consistent, you need to get in the weight room, eat well, get plenty of water, and have a mindset that you're going to come to the ballpark and compete.
Lots of new faces on this Newport team right now. We've seen it with Ty Duvall from Vanderbilt, Jack Little from Stanford, Andrew Dashbach from Stanford, Jonathan Heasley from Oklahoma State, just to name a few. How important do you think they're going to be to this team moving forward?
Oh, I think everybody's going to play an integral part. And guys are now starting to come in after the Super Regionals, and they're ready to play. They want to come in and compete and help the Gulls win.
Well, Eric, we wish you the best of luck. Newport Gulls baseball is coming up next right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Once again, here's Darren Zaslow and the Newport Gulls broadcast team.
And we welcome you into the broadcast here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. We are just about ready for NECBL baseball here on the NECBL Broadcast Network as the Newport Gulls host the Plymouth Pilgrims here at Cardines Field. I'm Darren Zaslow here with you alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxoud, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, and Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. We are all ready for baseball. It's a very interesting matchup here in the NECBL's Southern Division. Plymouth brings in a record of 4-5. They last played on Saturday on the road at Mystic, where they were victorious over the Schooners by a final score of 3-2. Newport brings in a 3-6 record, trying to bounce back after a 10-8 loss on the road at Valley last night. Dave, that was a game where Newport recorded a season high with 10 hits. Some new faces once again in the lineup, some new faces in that lineup from last night. Do you sort of like this new look from the Newport Gulls?
I do. I think it's going to be even more successful than it was the last time out. And I'm not talking strictly runs scored, but I'm talking effectiveness, timely hitting, people able to get runners across home plate and really play team baseball. Hopefully they can get a win. You know, just putting up 8 runs is more than they've been able to do basically all season. To come away with the loss is disappointing, but tonight we got David Palmer on the mound. Should be a good matchup. You got to think balls won't be flying. It's very thick out. You know, look for it to be more of a pitcher's matchup. Like you said, during the broadcasters roundtable, 2 of the, on paper, worst hitting teams. Kind of a different lineup. We got a lot more guys than that sample size would give you, but I expect this game to be kind of low scoring and more of a pitcher's duel.
Quinn, you look at this Plymouth team right now entering at 4-5, so one game separates them from getting back to 500. How big is this one here tonight for those Pilgrims?
Well, I think it's definitely a big game. I think they've been really lucky to come out 4-5, given how the offense has been going so far. To feel like you're right in the thick of things in a really tight Southern Division, sitting at 4-5, you're in a good position. And this is big. This is a team that the Pilgrims have historically struggled with and struggled with mightily last year. So if they could come down in here to Cardines and get a win, this would really set them on the right foot. You know, you come off that 5-game losing streak, you get your win, you get the win back, you get back in the column. You don't want to go right back the other way. You want to try to build some momentum, and hopefully they can string together a second win here tonight.
It is Tiverton Little League night here at the ballpark. 250 free Newport Gulls tattoos are being given out courtesy of Newport Gulls Baseball. And as you can see on your screen right in front of you, the Newport Gulls starters jogging out to their positions. With the baseball buddies, the Tiverton Little League players joining the Gulls out to their positions on the diamond. It's the Gulls and the Pilgrims, a Southern Division clash here in the NECBL. Do not go anywhere. We'll take you through a look around last night's NECBL scoreboard. We'll get you the national anthem, your starting lineups, and first pitch. Once again, do not go anywhere. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here into the broadcast booth on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Darren Zazzo with you here, joined alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxoud, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, and Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. Dave, why don't you take us through last night's NECBL scoreboard?
Thanks, Darren. A lot of action last night, a lot of close games at Maxfield Sports Complex. Upper Valley got another win, beating the Bay Sox 10-7. And in Valley, the Blue Sox, of course, beat the Gulls 10-8. The final score from Winnipesaukee, a close one, 7-6, as the Muskrats oust the Mainers up at Rob E. Miller Park. And the Mystic Schooners were able to hold off the Keene State Swamp Bats at Fitch High School, while the Vermont Mountaineers had a 4-run lead with a 5-1 win versus the Danbury Westerners. Darren?
Thanks so much, Dave. And you talked about the Upper Valley Nighthawks, and how about this team as we'll take you through the NECBL standings. Dave, you can do that for us, but talking about Upper Valley here, an 8-game win streak. They are in first place in the Northern Division. And Dave, how does the rest of these standings shake out here in the Northern and Southern Divisions?
You see Valley Nighthawks with an 8-2 record, and, you know, the Gulls are beating them, which is surprising, you know, considering they've struggled themselves. But Valley up 8-2. Behind them is the Valley Blue Sox at a record of 6-3, followed by the Vermont Mountaineers, Winnipesaukee, and North Adams. And in the basement of the Northern Division, I guess, are the Keene State Swamp Bats and the Sanford Mainers at 2-8. We look at the Southern Division. Ocean State still holding on to that 6-1 record. Only one loss thus far this season. Danbury, 2.5 games behind them with a record of 5-5. Then you got New Bedford and the Pilgrims in the middle of the Southern Division. And at the bottom, Mystic Schooners with a 3-5 record. And the Gulls, 3-6. Hopefully they can start to chip away and get out of that position.
One game separates both of these teams. Once again, like you mentioned, Dave, Plymouth 4-5, Newport 3-6 here on Tiverton. Little League night should be a fantastic ball game as we are just about ready for action. Don't go anywhere. We'll get you the national anthem here at the ballpark. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network.
CBL wear, New Era caps, the preferred cap of the NECBL. Show your support by visiting the souvenir stand at your next game and become a part of your favorite team. New Era caps, the preferred cap of the NECBL. Wear what Major League Baseball and the NECBL wear, New Era caps, the preferred cap of the NECBL. Show your support by visiting the souvenir stand at your next game and become a part of your favorite team. New Era caps, the preferred cap of the NECBL. Fans, stay connected by following the NECBL on all of our social media channels. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/NECBL. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the NECBL. And follow the NECBL on YouTube.
Welcome back into the ballpark here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. It's the Gulls and the Plymouth Pilgrims here in the NECBL's Southern Division. They meet tonight here on Tiverton Little League night. Darren Zaslow with you here in the broadcast booth alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxow, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, and Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. Quinn, why don't you take us through the starting lineup for the Plymouth Pilgrims?
Thank you very much, Darren. Leading things off for the Pilgrims tonight, second baseman Pat Dorian. Behind him, the right fielder Andrew McNeil. Hitting third, Brandon Perez, coming off that game-winning home run against Mystic, plays short. Doing the cleanup hitting tonight is DH Pat McCall. Tyler Wyatt behind him playing third. Batting sixth, James Venuto, the catcher. Batting seventh, Chase Cheek, the center fielder. Hernan Sardinas playing first and batting eighth. And Connor Brumfield rounds out the order, playing left.
They're going to go to work against Newport's starter on the mound. It's the right-hander, David Palmer, out of the University of New Haven. Palmer this year 0-1 with a 2.08 ERA. He has thrown 13 innings pitched thus far for Newport, has only given up 8 hits, 15 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And for Newport, they bring in an overall record of 3-6. Plymouth at 4-5. The Gulls starting lineup looks like this for second-year manager Al Leyva. Leading off is going to be the left fielder Cameron Meisner out of Missouri. Andrew Dashbach is at third base from Stanford. He bats second. Gabe Snyder makes his Newport Gulls debut here in 2017. He is at first out of Wright State. In the cleanup spot is the catcher Liam McGill from Columbia. Cade Cavanis bats fifth. He's in center field from Oklahoma State. Liam O'Regan is the right fielder, batting sixth from Elon. Ty Duvall is the designated hitter, hitting seventh from Vanderbilt. The shortstop out of the University of Rhode Island is Kevin Heiss. And rounding out the Newport lineup, the second baseman from Rhode Island College, Michael Webb. And they will go to work against Plymouth starter. They're going to go to the right-hander, Ben White from Duke. And Quinn, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Blue Devil on the mound?
Absolutely. Ben White has made one appearance. It was a start for the Pilgrims earlier this season, pitching 4 innings, striking out 6, and not issuing a walk. Had 6 hits against him, and 1 earned run. Ended up having a no decision in a 4-3 loss to Mystic.
Just about ready for baseball. It's the Gulls and the Plymouth Pilgrims. Do not go anywhere. First pitch is up next right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Sunday, July 30th.
Welcome back here to the ballpark as Pat Dorian steps in to face David Palmer. He fouls off the first pitch he sees. It is 0-1. Before we get things going, we will set you Newport's starting defensive alignment here after the pitch. The 0-1 to the left-handed hitting Dorian, once again fouled off left side, 0-2. From left to right around the Newport infield, Andrew Dashbach is at third. Kevin Heiss is at shortstop. The second baseman is Michael Webb, with Gabe Snyder making his Newport debut at first. from left to right in the outfield. This one fouled off again, left side. We'll do it again. Still 0-2 on Dorian. Cameron Meisner is in left field. Cade Cabanis is in center, making his first appearance in center field this year. Liam O'Regan is in right. Catching the balls and strikes from David Palmer is Liam McGill. Top half of the first, no score. The base is empty. 0-2 the count on Pat Dorian, the second baseman out of Lynn University. This one, once again, fouled off left side. Dorian there, Quinn, just a little late on some of these offerings here from Palmer, but getting the bat on the ball, most importantly, staying alive.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's faced 4 pitches, fouled all of them off, like you said, all of them late, going to the left side from a lefty batter, but he's definitely on Palmer and swinging freely early.
0-2 pitch. This one's skied in the air. Left center field. To his right goes the center fielder. Cabanis reaches up, puts it away. One down here in the top half of the first brings up the right fielder, Andrew McNeil out of Stetson.
And I'll tell you what, that fly ball gave us our first taste of it. It is going to be tough to see balls flying out to the outfield. The fog has rolled in heavy here at Cardines Field. And you just hope it stays where it is. Any more than this, it might be difficult to continue to play this game.
We'll see what Andrew McNeil can do. A 192 clip for McNeil entering the contest. He's 5 for 26, 3 RBIs, 5 runs scored, 5 strikeouts. Swings it from the left side, takes a fastball low and in for ball 1. Newport dressed in their home white uniforms with Gulls written in blue from left to right. Blue numbers outlined in orange on the front and the back of the jersey. 1-0 pitch is in there for strike 1. Newport also wears white pants with a blue and orange stripe down the sides. Next offering, this one chopped foul to the right side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we'll see what McNeil can do.
Pilgrims definitely, I mean, you've seen it with Dorian and now McNeil going up there, taking their swings early. Don't want to get too far behind in the count, but good to see him swinging.
1-2, sharp ground ball right side. Bobbled there and through the legs of Webb into center field, probably in E4, and that's what it is, the first error of the contest. This one on Michael Webb. So McNeil is aboard here for the shortstop, Brandon Perez.
Perez, the hero in game 2 nights ago against Mystic. Had a homer in the 7th to win that one. It was a tight battle. We talked about it in the Broadcasters Roundtable pregame. Gave the Pilgrims the 3-2 victory, coming off a 2-for-3 performance with 2 RBIs in that contest.
So off of first is McNeil. Perez here will step in. 8 for 30 this year. 4 runs scored, 5 RBIs, a 267 batting average. The first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1.
We talked about the lack of offense for the Pilgrims. That 267 average for Perez, second on the team right now. You like to see numbers start to creep up a little bit, but a lot of guys below that 200 marker.
Bats from the right side with a gray arm sleeve on that right arm. Palmer deals a fastball, runs low and away. The count 1-1, as you can see. Perez in the box wearing the navy blue road jersey for the Plymouth Pilgrims, with Plymouth written in light blue from left to right across the chest. The numbers on the front and the back of the jersey are light blue as well, with some white trim along the front and the sleeves, as Palmer will check over on McNeil. He dives back in safely. The Pilgrims also wear white pants. Get you tonight's weather report and the umpires here in a second. 1-1 pitch. Taken their shoulder high. 2 balls and 1 strike on Perez. Your umpires here tonight at the ballpark. James Dion is behind home plate, and on the bags, Tom Carey and Timothy Rosso. Palmer works out of the stretch. The black glove set letter high. 2-1 pitch. This one's skied in the air. Right center field. Cabanis and O'Regan will converge. It'll be the center fielder, Cabanis, who reaches up and puts it away right in front of the triangle there in right center field. Hustling back to first is McNeil. There are 2 away. The weather here at the ballpark, 67 degrees and foggy. Slight winds. But for the most part, the temperature should stay about the same. It'll go up to about 68 degrees around the 9 p.m. mark.
very comfortable night in here at the ballpark, for sure.
16-mile-an-hour winds as well here in the city by the sea, as Pat McCall, the designated hitter from Harvard, will step in, also batting from the left side, as Palmer will step off the rubber to look at McNeil over there at first. McCall, a .250 hitter. He's 2 for 8, couple RBIs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Swings the all-black bat, the red, white, and blue batting gloves. First pitch. Changeup runs away. It is 1-0.
And the combination of those heavy winds with the fog that has rolled in it could make it tough for the outfielders tonight. We're going to see a lot of high fly balls that are just going to be tough for these guys to track. We saw it play a little bit in Mystic 2 nights ago for the Pilgrims, where some things were dropping in that shouldn't have. We'll see if that's the case here tonight.
1-0 foul tipped into the mitt of McGill. It is 1 ball and 1 strike. And I think you make a really good point there, Quinn. Also, when you look at the grass with the fog, again, temperature very comfortable, like you mentioned. That infield grass is a little wet, and it's going to make gripping that baseball a lot tougher, and diving back in safely ahead of the Palmer pickoff move is McNeil. We're in the top half of the first. There are 2 outs in the frame, a runner on first, and Andrew McNeil, who reached on an error. We are scoreless, though, here at Cardines Field, as once again Palmer will step off the rubber. He works out of the stretch from the first base side of the slab. Newport's middle infield, the second baseman Webb, the shortstop Heiss, they are pinched towards that second base bag at double play depth. 1-1 pitch, big hack and a miss from McCall. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Pilgrim still waiting for McCall to get it going here. Just joined the team recently. He's got a pair of hits so far, but could really use to have a big game and a good night too with that short porch in right field. He's a power hitter if he can get a grip of one.
1-2, runner goes. Pitch is a called strike. That's strike 3 in the end of the inning, as Palmer records his first strikeout of the ball game. For Plymouth, they get no runs on no hits, leave 1 aboard with 1 Newport error. The Gulls will take their first swings of the night when we come back right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. As we go to the bottom half of the first, we are scoreless here between the Plymouth Pilgrims and the Newport Gulls. Plymouth 4-5, Newport 3-6 here on Tiverton Little League night. And before Newport takes their first swings of the contest, let's set Plymouth's starting defensive alignment. From left to right around the Pilgrims infield, Tyler Wyatt is at the hot corner. He's at third base. Brandon Perez is at shortstop. The second baseman is Pat Dorian, and at first is Hernan Sardinas. From left to right in the Plymouth outfield, Connor Brumfield is in left field. Chase Cheek is in center. Andrew McNeil is in right. Catching the balls and strikes from Ben White is James Venuto. Cameron Meisner will dig in for the Gulls. He bats from the left side. Ben White, the right-hander out of Duke, works out of the windup. The black glove over the head, the high leg kick. First pitch fastball in there for a strike. It is 0-1 on Cameron Meisner.
White looking forward to getting things started down at Duke next season, coming off doing his post-grad year there after a successful run at Holy Cross.
Meisner, a .294 hitter, 10 for 34 entering play. Looks at a fastball down and away. The count levels at 1-1.
And this is a guy, the leadoff hitter for the Gulls, that White really wants to get out here to start his day, specifically because Meisner had a pair of stolen bases in the last contest between these two teams.
1-1 changeup misses off the plate. You bring up the stolen base numbers for Meisner. Well, he had 17 at Missouri. That led his Missouri team this past spring. So obviously, like you mentioned, a lot of speed from that left side. Swings the all-black bat, the open stance, looks at a fastball knee high on the outside corner. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cameron Meisner. White gets the sign from the catcher, Venuto. Winds and fires this one fouled off left side. Meisner just a tad late on that offering from the right-hander, White. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrew Dashbach awaits on deck. He's gotten off to a great start this year with a .455 average. He's 5 for 11. 2-2 pitch, sharp ground ball up the middle into center field, a base hit. Cameron Meisner starts off the ball game with a leadoff single up the middle. Brings up Andrew Dashbach, and the Gulls are in business. That ball was well struck, Quinn.
Yeah, absolutely. Drilled right back at Ben White. Hard hit just directly up the middle, and a great piece of hitting. You know, sat back, looked at a couple strikes, waited for his pitch, found it, and absolutely roped it out to center.
So here comes Andrew Dashbach. Like we mentioned, the .455 batting average. He's 5 for 11. A couple runs scored, 3 RBIs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks for the Stanford product. Plays third base for the first time this season. First pitch to Dashbach, fastball, strike one called outside corner.
And we'll see if it changes as the at-bat goes on, but interestingly, Meisner with a very, very small lead on that pitch over at first, only getting maybe 3 steps off the bag. Perhaps just not ready for that AB to start. We'll see how he decides to approach it here. If the Gulls, you know, both these teams struggling offensively if they try to force the issue on the base paths.
0-1 fouled off right side. Now 0-2 on Andrew Dashbach, who bats in the number 2 hole this season. Also, that's the first time that he's seen his name penciled into the number 2 hole. The lights are shining brightly here at the ballpark. As you can see, some fog here in the area. Out of the stretches, White sets the black glove, belt buckle high, works from the first base side of the rubber. 0-2 pitch, runner goes. This one chopped foul, third base side. Meisner there with a decent jump. Will have to retreat to the bag.
Guardians ballpark. Definitely a very interesting structure. A lot of kind of nooks and crannies out in the outfield, but similar in one way to Forges Field out in Plymouth, that there's just really not much room in foul territory at all. None down that right field line once you get about halfway into the outfield. Very small amount down the left field line too. So you're going to see a lot of those balls that kind of curl into foul play. There's not going to be a lot of plays for the outfielders to make on them.
I'll also take you through the field dimensions of the ballpark during the inning as Dashbach looks at a called third strike on the outside corner there. White went to the fastball. His first strikeout of the night brings up the first baseman, Gabe Snyder, in his first at-bat this season as a Newport Gull. And those field dimensions here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island look like this. Down the left field line, 315 feet. To left center, it's 365. To dead center field, the deep triangle out there, 395. In right center field, it's 340. 285 feet down the right field lines. The fences here are 28 feet high as Gabe Snyder out of Wright State will dig in from the left side. Takes a fastball down and away for ball 1. Of course, Snyder, last year's NECBL Home Run Derby champion. Looks to get things going here with Meisner on first. No score, 1 away, a runner on first, bottom half of the first. 1-0 pitch, Meisner goes, pitch a called strike, throw to second from Venuto, not in time, stolen base Cameron Meisner.
And that's about as good a job as Venuto could have done. Just a great jump from Meisner, reading White well, who doesn't have the quickest delivery to the plate, and he put the throw exactly where it needed to be, right into the glove of Perez, low, let him put the tag right on, but Meisner just getting that foot ahead, just had too good a jump on him.
Gabe Snyder, 6'5", 245 pounds, out of Wright State. Played for a Wright State team that went 38-21 overall. Earned the number 2 seed in the Horizon League tournament. They were eliminated by UIC in the Horizon League tournament championship. But Snyder made 59 starts this year, hit 289. Hit 13 home runs, 49 RBIs. As this one is cut on and missed by Snyder. 2 balls and 1 strike on the left-handed hitting Wright State product. Also hit 17 doubles and 4 triples, had a .379 on-base percentage. Led the team in home runs, RBIs, doubles, and tied a team high in games played and started. Off of second is Meisner, 2-1 pitch, skied foul, left side, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count evens on the number 3 hitter in the Newport lineup, Gabe Snyder.
Now with that runner in scoring position, White got to be very careful, try to leave him at the plate or at least have an unproductive out here. Don't want to give up that lead early. It's so tough with a team who's struggling offensively like this to have to play from behind.
This one lifted in the air down the left field line. To his left goes Brumfield towards that left field line. It'll drop foul, and the bullpen's down there. And Quinn, you bring up the nooks and crannies here at the ballpark. Well, 2 deep triangles created by the structures of these fences, one in center field and one in right center field. Both dugouts are on the first base line. They are hockey-style dugouts. Newport's is closer to home plate. Plymouth's is closer to first base. 2-2 pitch to Snyder, fouled straight back. We will do it again. Pitch count thus far for Ben White. 16 pitches through just 1/3 of an inning. He's thrown 12 strikes, but that bodes well for this Newport offense, trying to make White throw numerous deliveries there on the mound per inning. White with a look towards Meisner at second. Now retreats back to the bag. 2-2 pitch. Grounded to second base. Up with it is Dorian. He will gather and throw out Snyder. To third base goes Meisner, and there's 2 away.
And I mean, that's as good as you can do there from White. So tough to force an out outside of getting that K that keeps Meisner at third or at second there. Now with him on third, obviously you have to be very careful. Any hit here with 2 outs is scoring him. Just got to go right after McGill. But you said it with that pitch count. Frustrating if you're White. You know, the first start of the season, he goes 4 innings. The pitch count wasn't bad, but you try to work a guy in. That was only the 4th game of the season, and he didn't pitch too much this season. And, you know, hopefully he can go a little bit longer here tonight, but the pitch count the way it is after an inning 1, he doesn't get himself off to a good start.
Well, he falls behind to Liam McGill there with a fastball off the outer edge. It is 1-0 on McGill. He's the cleanup hitter out of Columbia. He's behind the dish tonight. McGill 4 for 31, a 129 batting average. Scored 2 runs, has struck out 10 times. Looks at a breaking ball in there on the outside corner for strike 1. It is now 1-1. Meisner led off the inning with a single to center field. Andrew Dashbach stuck out, but Meisner stole second. Moved to third on Gabe Snyder's ground out to second base as White deals another fastball wide of the zone. Now 2 balls and 1 strike on Liam McGill. We're still scoreless in the bottom half of the first. 2 away, a runner on third in Meisner. White sets at the belt buckle and steps off the rubber. White wearing the high navy blue socks. Works out of the stretch, the 2-1 pitch. Big hack and a miss from McGill, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big spot here for Newport if they want to take an early lead. Plymouth with the number 6 pitching staff in the NECBL as White deals a curveball to the dirt. A nice job there by Venuto to smother it. Count pushes full 3-2. But Plymouth, yeah, with the 2.98 team ERA, that's number 6 in the NECBL. Newport with a 4.06 team ERA, that's number 10. So you kind of expect a low-scoring matchup offensively, but Quinn, when you look at these pitching staffs, that might tell you otherwise, which is interesting, an interesting contrast. Payoff pitch chopped foul, will do it again.
And for the Pilgrims, I mean, the biggest thing is that they've given up, I believe, 13 unearned runs on the season. So, you know, that team ERA is great and it's fantastic, and the pitching staff has been really good. But a lot of walks and then a lot of unforced errors have led to, a lot of runs against them and have lost them a couple ball games.
Plymouth with a .968 fielding percentage. That's number 5 in the NECBL. Newport at .951. That is second worst. This one skied weakly in the air, right side of the infield. The second baseman, Dorian, makes the call and the catch. Inning over. For Newport, they get no runs on 1 hit, leave 1 aboard with no Plymouth errors. We're through 1 full inning of play here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. We are scoreless here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. As we go to the top half of inning number 2, we are scoreless here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. But before Plymouth takes their second swings of the night, let us quickly pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Newport Gulls. Baseball Network.
NCTV 18 Newport County, the World Wide Web, and on DVD. This is Newport Gulls Baseball on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is the exclusive property of the Newport Gulls Baseball Club and the New England Collegiate Baseball League, presented by the authority of the NECBL Broadcast Network for the entertainment of our listening and viewing audience, and may not be reproduced, re-recorded, or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game cannot be disseminated without the express written consent of the Newport Gulls and the Commissioner's Office of the New England Collegiate Baseball League.
Plymouth looking to strike first here with hitters 5, 6, and 7. Tyler Wyatt, James Venuto, Chase Cheek, all going to try and give Plymouth an early lead as Wyatt steps in and looks at a fastball inside, 1-0, and then skies this one foul off to the left side and out of play now. 1-1. And Quinn again, foggy night, kind of chilly. 15-mile-an-hour winds again, kind of has that pitcher's duel sort of feel. We'll see if that's what we actually get. As Wyatt once again skies this one off to the right side. McGill giving chase in front of the Newport dugout, cannot make the play now. 1-2. That's just my opinion, though. It just kind of has that feel to it.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's just going to be so hard. I mean, especially for the Pilgrims, specifically an offense that thrives on the home run ball. With the conditions the way they are, just wetness in the air, balls aren't going to travel very far out of here.
This one lined to left field. It'll get down for a base hit as Meisner will play it on a bounce and throw it back in. It's the first hit of the night for the Pilgrims. This one off the bat of Tyler Wyatt. Leadoff man is aboard for James Venuto.
And I got to say credit to Wyatt because he has been slumping a bit of late. Back in the lineup again tonight, and I'll tell you what, through the whole thing, he's had the best attitude about it. Just likes to grind every day. Talks about how his dad told him that every day you got to go out there and win your job, and a good piece of hitting there to get the inning started.
James Venuto will step in. The catcher out of Elon fouls off the first pitch to the left side. It is 0-1 on Venuto. And James Venuto, a .222 batter, 4 for 18, 6 runs scored, 6 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Palmer deals a changeup that is low and inside. The count evens at a ball and a strike.
And Venuto, definitely a foe of Palmer's. We saw Palmer get the start back in Plymouth the last time these two teams met, and Venuto's run carried all the way to the 9th as the only scoring, or until the 8th, excuse me, as the only scoring, as he had a home run off Palmer, one of just 3 hits that he gave up on the night.
Deals a 1-1 backdoor curveball that misses about calf high, 2 balls and 1 strike. We're in the top half of the second. No outs, a runner on first, and Tyler Wyatt, third baseman out of Grand Canyon University, singled to left field to start off the frame. Palmer sets and deals. Fastball, strike 2 called, inside corner, great pitch. 2-2. Palmer is ready. Gets the sign from McGill. The target set inside. Break-even offering. This one's skied in the air. Left side of the infield. The shortstop, Heiss, reaches up, puts it away with his heels on the outfield grass, and there's 1 down.
Pilgrims early here getting under a lot of balls. We've seen now 3 flyouts through the first 6 batters, and a lot of them just sky high, not traveling too far.
Palmer thus far with 25 pitches through 1 1/3. 18 strikes, 7 balls as Chase Cheek will step in. The center fielder bats on the left side. First pitch is a called strike. It is 0-1 on Cheek out of Duke University. Swings a tan-barreled bat, the black handle, red, white, and blue batting gloves, a slightly open stance and the bent knees. Palmer will check up on Wyatt over there first. He's back in safely with a head-first slide. He's being held on by Snyder.
Palmer's been very, very aware of the runners on base so far here tonight for the Pilgrims.
0-1 offering. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 on Chase Cheek.
Cheek is chasing a pitch up and away, trying to do a little too much. And that's what happens a lot of the times. You see guys struggling at the plate, and they just get in their own heads and start chasing pitches, trying to force it.
0-2 pitch runs wide. Nice take there by Cheek. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there on your screen in front of you, you can get a picture there of Tyler Wyatt, that dirty jersey, sliding back in on the dirt. It's an average size lead over there. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off. Left side will do it again. Nice battle here with Cheek and Palmer. It's a D2, D1 matchup. Palmer out of the University of New Haven really had an incredible year for New Haven. Team that went to the East Regional in the NCAA tournament. There's a check swing from Cheek on an elevated pitch. He did not go around, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But how about Palmer's numbers this past season? 8-1 record, 13 appearances, 11 starts, a 1.51 ERA. In 77 innings pitched, he struck out 82 batters. 2-2 pitch misses high, and the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It's been interesting. He hasn't tried to put anything low past Cheek, not trying to miss with a breaking ball in the dirt or anything. Everything has been up and away to him or up middle. And Cheek doing a good job after swinging a pitch out earlier in the bat. Has taken, a lesson in discipline, started to weight back a little bit, and Palmer just not getting him to chase on any of these pitches.
Palmer again out of the stretch. Payoff pitch, runner goes, pitch a called ball. It's a 1-out walk to Chase Cheek. To second base goes Tyler White. And Plymouth is in business here for the first baseman, Hernan Sardinas. And if you can remember Hernan Sardinas, well, had the walk-off fielder's choice back when Plymouth defeated Newport earlier on this year, and what a game that was.
Yeah, I mean,
you remember that one?
You have a pitcher's duel absolutely between Johnny Bermudez and David Palmer, who's out now for the Gulls. The Gulls get no hit into the 9th, get a cheapie that gets erased on a fielder's choice, end up pushing one across in the top of the 9th to finally tie it up. A 1-run homer by James Venuto had held up the whole way until then. And the Pilgrims have to come right back out, load the bases up in the bottom of the 9th, and yeah, just a fielder's choice to Heiss it short that he just couldn't get out of his glove to go home with.
Sardinas took a strike there, and that was a 2-1 victory for Plymouth back on June the 8th. Just the second game of the year for the Gulls. Sardinas, first baseman out of the University of Maine. And into the ball game here for Sardinas. A 111 batting average. He's 2 for 18. A run scored, an RBI, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. He bats from the left side. 0-1 pitch. This one absolutely crushed. To deep right field. O'Regan goes back, looks up. That ball is way out of here. It's a 3-run home run for Hernan Sardinas here in the top half of the second inning. It's his first of the year to give Plymouth a 3-0 lead.
And you love that out of Sardinas. Sardinas similar to Wyatt in the way that, not having the best start to the season offensively. Not that anybody on the Pilgrims roster is, but Sardinas fighting for playing time here, and to give the Pilgrims a big 3-0 lead here in the second with 1 swing of the bat, that's huge. First extra base hit for Sardinas, and that one had to feel good for him.
First of the year. He has now 4 RBIs on the season as Connor Brumfield, the left fielder from Missouri, steps in, takes a strike on the inner edge, 0-1. Plymouth with now 3 runs on just 2 hits. 0-1 pitch, fouled off left side, 0-2. But that's exactly, Quinn, what this Plymouth team needs. We've talked about the offensive struggles for both clubs, and a real big piece of hitting there from Sardinas out of the number 8 spot.
Absolutely, and with 3 runs there, the way your pitching staff has, with that 2.98 ERA, you've got yourself right in this ball game. You got to think for the duration. Obviously, so much to play, and we'll see how the Gulls can kind of get things going offensively. But by the law of averages, they've given themselves a great chance with just 1 swing of the bat. And you said that, and as we talked about on the pregame show, that's been it for them. It's been the home run ball. That's really been the main source of offense all season.
Previous pitch fouled out. This one grounded weakly left side. Charging to his left is Dashbach, and he has no play. Brumfield with some speed there from the left side beats out the infield single. So it's the 3rd hit of the frame for Plymouth, their 3rd of the ball game. Brings back up the top of the order, and Pat Dorian, he's out for 1 with a flyout. the second baseman out of Lynn University.
We talked about earlier, Palmer, in his first appearance of the season, a start against the Pilgrims, worked masterfully through 6 innings, had 8 Ks and gave up just 3 hits in all 6 innings. Now here in the second, he's already given up 3 all in this inning. And you got to think for him, you really got to lock it down, especially off the heels of the Sardinas home run. You got to find some composure and just go to work.
Palmer, the quick look over to first. Brumfield back in, standing up. First pitch to Dorian. Sharp ground ball. Right side, gets through for a base hit. Taking the turnaround second is Brumfield. He will hold up there as O'Regan chucks the ball back into the infield. 4th hit for Plymouth here in the frame. Their 3rd in a row puts runners on first and second for the right fielder Andrew McNeil out of Stetson. He's 0 for 1, reached on an error by Michael Webb in the first inning.
And you see things just starting to come apart a little bit here in the second for Palmer. He gave up that 3-run shot. I mean, he's gotten the 1 out on Venuto, but other than that, it's been hit, walk, and now 3 straight hits. And he's just got to find a way to regain his composure out here on the mound. You've got the elements, as much as it wouldn't seem it after that Sardinas splash, you've got the elements working for you. You know, it's okay to pitch to contact in this, but you got to find a way to get a quick out here and not let the damage continue to run too high for him in the inning.
Well, big spot here for the Plymouth Pilgrims if they want to add on to their lead. McNeil, a left-handed hitter, wears the black ankle guard on that front side foot, swings the all-black bat, stands tall with his back foot on the back line in the left-handed batter's box. Palmer sets and deals. A curveball, that one's a strike called on the outside corner. It's 0-1. 3-0 your score in favor of Plymouth here in the top half of the second. 1 away and runners on first and second. Pat Dorian is on first. Connor Brumfield is on second. They both singled. 0-1 from Palmer. Skied in the air, slicing in the foul ground down the left field line. Dashbach and Meisner give chase. It is Meisner who makes the play, but was he in the bullpen when he made the catch? And they're going to say that that's a foul ball. And that's one of the quirks here about Cardines Field. If that ball at all goes into that bullpen that is located down the left field line, that ball is out of play. Does not matter if you make the catch, and there on your replay, you can see that Meisner very, very close to that line and may have crossed into foul ground when he made the catch. But it's 0-2, still on McNeil. We're in the top half of the second. It's a 3-0 Plymouth lead. Palmer works from the first base side of the rubber. Sets the black glove at the belt buckle with a look towards second. The pitch on the way. Changeup runs inside. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes on McNeil, the number 2 hitter in this Plymouth lineup. The big blast from Hernan Sardinas here in the frame. A 3-run shot gives Plymouth this lead. Next one on the way. Backdoor bender just misses inside. Count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The lone out in the inning was a pop out to the shortstop by James Venuto. Kevin Heiss made that play. Palmer gets his sign from McGill. They agree. 2-2 pitch. Misses low and in. Count pushes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Quinn Palmer's pitch count thus far now at 45 pitches through 1 1/3 innings of work.
And it's really been mostly in this inning. He's laboring through right now. And the Pilgrims working him for some at-bats. You know, in the first inning we saw them going right up, swinging away. But now here starting to work the count with him struggling the way he is.
Palmer steps off and looks at Brumfield at second base. As Brumfield retreats all the way back to the second base bag. Brumfield and Meisner, both teammates at Missouri. McNeil hits from the left side. Faces the payoff pitch from Palmer. Runners go, and this one fouled off left side. We will do it again. Hernan Sardinas with that 3-run home run, his first long ball of the year. Palmer is ready. McNeil also ready from the left side. Payoff pitch. Fastball, strike 3 called inside corner. Down looking goes Andrew McNeil. Second strikeout of the night for Palmer. Brings up the shortstop, Brandon Perez. Out of USC, Perez 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field.
And that's a big one there for Palmer. Both strikeouts for him tonight coming looking, and it shows you when he gets in the count, he's got some deceptive stuff. So for the Pilgrims, it's wise to go after the first couple pitches from him because some of the stuff he can feature later in the at-bat is nasty.
Perez swings it from the right side, looks at a fastball for strike 1, about belt buckle high. Perez entering the contest, a .258 hitter. He's 8 for 30. 4 runs scored and 5 RBIs. He's only struck out twice. Swings a red-barreled bat and a tan handle. Looks at a curveball on the outer edge for strike 2. So Palmer ahead of the number 3 hitter, Perez.
Certainly taking the carryover from that strikeout in the last at-bat to McNeil and working confidently through this at-bat with Perez.
It's 0-2. 3-0 Plymouth. 2 outs. Runners on first and second. 0-2 pitch. Fouled straight back. Nice job there by Perez to get a piece and stay alive. Just one game separates both of these teams in the NECBL's Southern Division. Plymouth is 4-5. Newport is 3-6. Palmer sets and fires. Curveball. Popped up, foul. Right side. McGill gives chase, and it's off the netting, literally into the netting, and then drops harmlessly into the edge of the Newport dugout. There you can see Palmer on the mound doing some maintenance there on the hill. So he gets the ball back and gets back on the rubber. Dorian is on first. Brumfield is on second. They both singled. Already 3 runs and 4 hits in the frame. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off right side. Perez staying alive here, Quinn, and that's been a theme of this inning, and you talked about it a little bit ago. Plymouth just putting the bat on the ball and really making Palmer work.
Yeah, credit to both sides. I mean, credit to Palmer for staying within the zone. Keep throwing strikes here with 2 strikes. Now, you know, he's got the 1 walk, but other than that, he's been really within himself. But the Pilgrims, credit on the other side, too, for just fighting off some tough pitches from him.
Here comes pitch number 53 from Palmer. It's swung on and missed. It gets away from McGill. He can't see it. It's to the right side of the home plate circle. Around third, heading for home is Brumfield. He will score. To third base goes Dorian. And up to second base goes Perez. So Plymouth takes a 4-0 lead. What you have to think is going to be a wild pitch, and the Pilgrims are in business.
What a wacky play there, and just a huge break for the Pilgrims. Find themselves up now 4-0, and absolutely the least, you couldn't earn that run less if you're Brandon Perez, but nevertheless, they get it, and then they're in a tight situation here again with runners in second, third. They've moved up a bag and now 2 in scoring position. A single here for McCall could break this thing really far open.
Lines this one into right field, a base hit. Dorian will score. They're going to wave home Perez. Here comes the throw to home from O'Regan, and it's in time. The tag applied by McGill. Big play from Liam O'Regan, but 1 run does score in Pat Dorian as Plymouth takes a 5-0 lead. We will go to the bottom half of inning number 2. So for the Pilgrims, they get 5 runs, and they do it on 5 hits with no Newport errors. They leave just 2 aboard. We'll see what Newport can do to try and chip into this lead when we come back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network with a score, Plymouth 5, Newport 0. Welcome back into the ballpark here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. Newport trailing Plymouth 5-0 as we go to the bottom half of inning number 2. Also on this broadcast is Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Packin. And Dave, right now Newport in a little bit of a hole here as Cade Cabanis digs in, fouls off the first pitch he sees. It's 0-1. And for a Newport offense, that has been struggling. Not a great start. Obviously, lots of baseball, though, to be played.
A lot of baseball to be played, but it's definitely not easy to hit, especially when you're down 5 runs. What it does is it gives the pitcher, Ben White, just so much more confidence knowing he's got that much of a margin. And it makes it so much tougher on these Gulls batters. But they got to chip away, get 1 or 2 here, maybe a little bit, just to give them something so they don't wait until the 7th, 8th inning to kind of make a dent into this lead.
Cabanis swings over top of a White changeup there on the outer edge. It is 0-2 on Cade Cabanis, the center fielder from Oklahoma State. White deals. This one chopped foul first base side, and Quinn on the other hand for Plymouth right now. You got White, who has thrown 28 pitches through just 1 inning. Again, that pitch count is going up a little bit. That's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, he needs a quick inning here. You got that cushion so you can pitch a little bit more to contact now, let the ball go around the yard and have the defense behind you make some plays. But yeah, he needs to bring it down. Especially with that lead, you don't want to go to the bullpen too early.
Cabanis, a .217 hitter. He is 5 for 23. Looks at a fastball high and away, about letter high. It is now 1-2. Bats from the left side. Swings an all black bat. The black and white batting gloves, the royal blue wrist tape. 1-2, swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball for strike 3. Second strikeout of the ball game for Ben White out of Duke. There's 1 away.
We see both the pitchers out on the hill tonight for either squad. Big strikeout pitchers, obviously. Now 17 and 15 innings for Palmer on the other side. That's the 8th K of the season through just now 5 1/3.
Well, here comes O'Regan. He's 5 for 25. He's hitting 200 this season. Has 3 home runs. Takes a fastball above the letters for ball 1. O'Regan in the number 6 spot in this Newport lineup. Trying to get things going for the Gulls. They have been down in 4 hitters in a row since Meisner led off the ball game with a single. As O'Regan takes a strike there, it's 1-1. Also, Quinn, seems like White is getting ahead as well, and that's something you got to credit him as well. Makes it a lot easier there for you on the mound.
Absolutely. The pitch count getting run up the same way. Guys just fighting off 2-strike pitches.
1-1, big swing and a miss from O'Regan, 1-2. Bottom 2. Base is empty, 1 away. It's a 5-0 Plymouth lead. There you can see White on the mound. He works out of the windup. 1-2 pitch, skipped in the dirt. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Went to the changeup there. It is Tiverton Little League night here at the ballpark. 250 free Newport Gulls tattoos were handed out before the ball game, courtesy of Newport Gulls baseball. As O'Regan looks at a fastball that's off the plate to push the count full. Newport will be back here at Cardines Field on Wednesday night when they host the Ocean State Waves in Game 1 of the Pell Bridge Series. It's Newport Daily News night at the ballpark. As O'Regan looks at a pitch in the dirt for ball 4. So Liam O'Regan with a nice at-bat, works a 1-out walk here in the bottom half of the second to bring up the designated hitter Ty Duvall out of Vanderbilt. A free bicycle will be handed out on Wednesday night, courtesy of 10 Speed Spokes. Once again, Newport Daily News night at the ballpark when the Gulls host the Ocean State Waves at 6:35 p.m. right here at Cardines Field. Ty Duvall will step in. He's hitting 200 on the season, 2 for 10 out of Vanderbilt. First pitch fastball called strike. Once again, Quinn White getting ahead.
Yeah, that last at bat frustrating for him against O'Regan. He gets up 1-2, and then 2 pitches that are just not even close, bouncing him well ahead. Didn't have a lot of good opportunities to give chase pitches. Got to get ahead of Duvall here again and try to punch him out quickly.
Went to the backdoor bender. Duvall swung over that offering. It is now 0-2 on Ty Duvall.
You don't want to see him waste something too much here. Obviously, the pitches that he was trying to waste just not coming anywhere close. So something flirting with the zone.
0-2 misses low and in, 1-2. Duval swings an all royal blue bat. A black elbow guard on that front side elbow. Digs in with his back foot on the back line of the left-handed batter's box. That has worn away. So has the front line. 1-2 pitch. Sharp ground ball left side as the runner goes. O'Regan up to second base. He will hold up there. Duval on with a one-out single here in the bottom half of the second. Puts runners on first and second.
And that one a tough luck hit against Ben White. Things breaking right on that play for the Gulls, and a good bit of hitting there by Duval. You know, you see Brandon Perez breaking to cover the bag on the hit and run there. With O'Regan coming in, the lefty in, you send the shortstop over to protect against the pull, but he ends up going the other way with it, taking that pitch and just using it against him. The pitch on the outside goes with it and just gets right through. Perez should have been right there, but covering the bag, it sneaks through, and now something cooking for the Gulls.
Well, here comes Kevin Heiss. Switch hitting shortstop, bats from the left side. First pitch misses low and in. Newport with 2 hits in the ball game, where you saw it from Ty Duval, and Cameron Meisner led off the game with a single. Kevin Heiss, 1 for 29 this season, 3 runs scored, 10 strikeouts, and 5 walks. He's batting .034. Next pitch, fastball. That one's a strike on the outer edge, 1-1. Duval is on first. O'Regan is on second. Cade Cabanis led off the frame with a strikeout. Newport looking to dig into this 5-0 deficit. White stands with an open stance as he gets the sign from his catcher, Venuto, and now he steps off the rubber as Heiss steps out of the box. Heiss with the blue and orange batting gloves, the all-black bat, the royal blue wrist tape there from that left side. 1-1 pitch. Strike 2 call once again outside third of the plate. White painting the fastball there on the outer black, 1-2.
And now for White. All 4 batters he's faced this inning, he's had the 2-strike count on, been ahead of every one of them. Obviously won the battle against Cabanis, but lost it to O'Regan and Duval. Time to get one back in the win column for him here against Heiss.
1-2 misses down and away. Very close pitch, 2-2.
That's a tight one, and that one's a good chase pitch there from White. You know, Heiss obviously showing great discipline at the plate, not going after it, but that one definitely a tantalizing pitch for him, and that's the spot that you want to hit there up 1-2 if you're Ben White.
Heiss is ready, so is White. Pitch on the way, skied in the air. Straight away left field. Under it is Brumfield. He reaches up and puts it away. 2 outs here in the bottom half of the second for the second baseman, Michael Webb.
And that's the thing. That's what we talked about with that 5-0 lead. White doesn't have to go up there with the 2-strike count and think, I need to get this punch out. He can let the guy swing and just get that out in the field.
Webb 3 for 26. He has a 115 average, 1 run scored, an RBI, 10 strikeouts and 5 walks out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Stands from the left side. First pitch, big swing and a miss from Webb. It's 0-1. Nice job by White once again to get ahead. Newport currently being out hit by Plymouth 5-2. White is ready. Looks at second once. The pitch on the way. In there for strike 2. Goes back to the fastball. And Quinn White not afraid to work both sides of the plate with that fastball as well.
No, not at all. He's got good command of it right now, and he's moving it inside and out, keeping the hitters on their toes. Doing a really good job so far despite the high pitch count.
0-2 to Webb. Misses wide, 1-2. And that pitch count for White right now is at 47 pitches, 31 strikes and 16 balls. And it's not surprising to see why he's had so many strikes. He has been getting ahead, at least here in the early going. But Newport with some offense against him, a couple hits and a walk.
Yeah, he's definitely pounding the zone, but Newport just working him. Credit to both of these teams. You know, for teams that aren't having great offensive starts to the season, they're working some tough at-bats tonight.
1-2, fouled weakly left side. Webb just late on that offering from White. So Newport here trying to stay in this ball game. could really use at least a run here to try and start this comeback. It's 5-0 Plymouth as Webb just gets a piece of this one, fouls it off. The protective screening there along the third base line. And there you can see on your screen in front of you, Webb digging back in, and White on the mound. Stands once again with that open stance as he gets the sign from Venuto. Long pause on the mound, 1-2 pitch. Fouled off, nice job there by Webb, and very close now. White getting ready to deal his 50th pitch here through just 1 2/3. That's good news if you are a Newport Gulls fan.
It's at bats like these where you've got 2 strikes. Webb now fouling a couple pitches off, making him work to get every out he can. You got a hot pitcher on the mound. To get him out early like that bodes well for you.
1-2 misses about eye level high. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Webb. Cameron Meisner waits on deck. He's 1 for 1, led off the game for Newport with a single to center field. White gets that sign from Venuto. Target set away, the pitch. Fouled off in the air, left side, slicing foul, out of play. Webb with a nice at bat here. Plymouth out hitting Newport 5-2, 5-0 in the runs column. The Gulls have committed 1 error. The Pilgrims have played a clean slate thus far through just 1 2/3 innings. White is ready, the pitch on the way. This one a sharp ground ball, past the dive of the first baseman, Sardinas in the right field, a base hit. Around third, heading home is O'Regan. He will score on a 2-out RBI single off the bat of Michael Webb. It's now 5-1 Plymouth here in the bottom half of the second. Great at bat there from Michael Webb. To second base goes Duvall. And Meisner will be up at the dish here with now just a 4-run deficit. Meisner 1 for 1 with a single.
That's what happens. Credit to Webb. You work in at bat like that, and White starts to get tired out there, and you just get the slightest bit lazy with 1 pitch, have it creep back into the zone too far enough, easy for him to hit, and he takes advantage of it.
Meisner just missed that pitch. He fouled it straight back to the screen. It is 0-1 on the Missouri left fielder Cameron Meisner entering the ball game with a .314 batting average. 10 for 34. Only 4 strikeouts for Meisner. That's on the left side, 0-1. Fastball misses below the knees, 1-1.
White looking a bit frustrated with a couple of these ball calls. Been 1 or 2 that he's really thought that he had put right there in the zone.
The shortstop Perez plays about 10 feet to his left. That's pull side for Meisner. So does the second baseman Dorian and the third baseman Wyatt, as White misses low and in with a fastball, 2-1. We're here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Darren Zaslow with you alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxoud, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, and Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. We're all with you. 2-1 from White to Meisner. Sharp ground ball up the middle in the center field. A base hit. They're going to wave home Duvall. Here comes Cheek's throw to the plate. It is cut off by Sardinas. To third base goes Webb. It's a 2-out RBI single from Cameron Meisner. It's now 5-2 Plymouth. Newport making a comeback here early on.
And for Meisner, just seeing White really, really well here. Back-to-back singles drilled right back up the middle. Nobody, no matter what kind of shift you put on, there's nobody that's going to be right behind that bag for you. And that one, you can't come back. Good hitting from Meisner, and good piece of hitting. And to cut the deficit down to 3 just like that, got to feel really good. And I think Newport building a lot off of that momentum of getting that throw out at home, getting out of the inning a little bit quicker than they perhaps thought they were going to, and turning into some good offense here in the second inning.
We'll see what Andrew Dashbach can do. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Out of Stanford, he's at the hot corner here tonight at third base for the first time this season. Also plays some outfield as well, so a guy who can play a lot of positions is Dashbach. And he hits here with runners on the corners, 2 away. Newport already with 2 runs in this inning on 3 hits and a walk. Both of the runs coming with 2 outs in the frame as Dashbach looks at the first pitch he sees, and it is a ball. 1-0 on the Stanford third baseman. Pitch on the way, change up in there for strike 1. Now 1-1 on Andrew Dashbach. For White, he has thrown 58 pitches thus far. 39 strikes and 19 balls. They're just 1 2/3. Next pitch, this is low and away. 2-1 there on the fastball. And here, Quinn, you can see Newport's offense getting going a little bit. They set a season high with 10 hits last night in the 10-8 loss at Valley, and definitely has a different look to it since these teams last met back on June the 8th.
Absolutely, it does. Not that the offense has been, great for either of these teams leading into the matchup, that it would suggest it would look much different, but definitely has the feel, and we talked about this on the pregame show. I didn't predict that it would go this way personally, but sometimes when you get 2 offenses that are struggling, they go up against each other and they both just have a breakthrough performance.
2-1 changeup rises above the letters. Now 3-1 on Dashbach. He's in a hitter's count here against White. He works out of the stretch. Off of first is Meisner, off of third is Webb. This one sharply grounded to the third, under the glove of White in the left field, a base hit. Webb will cross the plate. Around second, heading for third is Meisner. He gets in ahead of the throw from Brumfield. Trying to go from first to second is Dashbach. He will pull in there standing up. Newport making some noise here. We'll see how they want to rule it. It's going to be an error on Wyatt, but it's now 5-3 Plymouth.
And you see errors coming back to bite again for the Pilgrims. Obviously still with that 2-run lead, but that's a play that Wyatt has to make down there at third base, and I think that he just thought it was going to take a bit more of a hop for him. You see him pull that glove up, and it just goes right under it, held tight to the dirt. And a tough break there for Ben White.
Took kind of a tricky in-between hop there on White, and that's either a ball that you got to come get or maybe take a couple steps back and play it on the long hop. Either way, that ball was hit pretty hard, and as they say, Quinn, the toughest ball to field is the one that's hit right at you. You have no depth perception on it. You can't really tell how hard it's hit. Credit the job of Dashbach to put the ball in play. And also, for this Newport offense collectively, 3 runs on 2 outs. They've done it on 3 hits and an error. Big spot here for Gabe Snyder. It's now 5-3 Plymouth with runners on second and third.
And it can't really be understated either, that throw from Brumfield coming in from left that just comes nowhere close to Wyatt and rolls back to the bag that allows Dashbach to get up to second base. Now, one swing of the bat can make it a tie ball game, and that could be huge here.
Gabe Snyder steps in, looks at a fastball off the inner edge. It is 1-0. Snyder 0 for 1. First baseman out of Wright State. Dave will bring you back in here, and Newport's offense starting to get rolling a little bit. This is the rhythm that they need.
Yeah, it started with that hit and run. Don't forget about that. It was good execution by O'Regan and Duvall to kind of get things started with a little small ball. And right there, it was almost passively, Wyatt passively went for it. He didn't get his body in front. He tried to backhand pick it, and that's always trouble, especially these guys are used to such good fields. They're Division I players. They're not playing on perfectly manicured fields. They got to remember that. Get your body in front of it.
Snyder fouls off the 1-1 pitch off his front side foot. It is now 1-2 on Gabe Snyder. Showed the power numbers this past spring at Wright State. Snyder 6'5", 245 pounds. Hit 289 in 59 games played. 66 hits and 228 at-bats. Had 13 home runs and 49 RBIs. Also scored 45 runs. 1-2 just misses, clipping the front knee of Snyder, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. You could tell, Quinn, that Snyder was hanging in there on that pitch, wasn't really trying to jump out of the way.
No, absolutely not. With the way White's working right now, you want as many base runners as you can get, and you'll take that free pass.
2-2 waved at and missed for strike 3, a much-needed strikeout for the Duke right-hander in Ben White. But for Newport, the damage has been done. They push across 3 runs, and they do it on 3 hits with 1 Plymouth error. They leave 2 aboard. We'll go to the top half of the third with your score. Plymouth 5, Newport 3. You've been watching and listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Are you guys ready?
It's a 5-3 Plymouth lead as we go to the top half of inning number 3. Tyler Wyatt steps in, looks at the first pitch from Palmer for ball 1. Next one on the way is a curveball that is taken ankle high. 2 balls and no strikes. Darren Zaslow with you here alongside the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly. Wyatt will sky this one foul left side out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Also here with Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck and Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxown. We're all here with you in the booth. Newport with 3 runs in the bottom half of the second inning. 5-3 now. Plymouth leads as Palmer paints the inner edge. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Palmer here trying to settle down after giving up 5 runs in the second. Break-even offering. Just misses off the inside part of the plate. 3-2. And Quinn, a lot of deep counts as well. Not necessarily just fouling pitches off, but you've seen a lot of 3-2 counts here as well.
Absolutely, you have. I mean, these guys just looking great working these at-bats here today.
Payoff pitch is fouled off. Right side gets out of play.
For Wyatt, you know, he starts off the second inning, a big 5-run second inning for the Pilgrims with a single. Talked about right after that at-bat the way he's been fighting, stay in the lineup and get out of a slump.
This one fouled straight back, and again, you know, you're seeing a lot of pitches on these at-bats, and Palmer now just through pitch number 61. They're just 2 innings of work, and Ben White in a very similar boat, Plymouth starter with a high pitch count. Payoff pitch, curveball, strike 3 called, inside corner. Great pitch from David Palmer. It is his 3rd strikeout of the contest, 1 away here in the top half of the third.
And Wyatt knew it. You see him starting to look like he's walking out of the box right away. That one just hung on him beautifully, totally caught him off guard. And a great breaker there from Palmer.
And we will see what James Venuto can do as strike 1 is called. It looked like Venuto was calling for time. Home plate umpire James Dion did not grant it. So Palmer jumps ahead 0-1. Bounce on the left side, the red ankle guard on the front foot, misses high with a fastball. 1-1 on Venuto.
That one tough as it obviously goes against the Pilgrims, but I'm a bit happy to see that. So far in this league, there's been a lot of late times granted, and that can be frustrating, especially if you're a pitcher out there on the mound. You know, you're already in your windup. Once he's in the windup, in my mind, that time shouldn't be getting granted.
1-1 curveball misses low, so it's now 2-1. Palmer again paints the inner edge. 2 balls and 2 strikes there with the fastball. Venuto wears the high navy blue socks. The red, white, and blue batting gloves and the white wrist tape underneath. 2-2 fastball misses off the outside corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the Elon catcher, James Venuto. This one misses low for ball 4. Nice job there by Venuto to work the 1-out walk. He's aboard at first for Chase Cheek, the center fielder from Duke.
And credit to him, you know, he saw a pitch in his first at-bat that he really didn't like, that was called a strike. Sees a pitch, that second strike in that at-bat, he really didn't think it was in there. And when you get behind 2 strikes on pitches that you haven't really thought are in there, you tend to start opening the zone against yourself, just feeling frustrated. But he keeps his composure, works the strike zone that he knows, and gets a walk.
Chase Cheek walked and scored in his first plate appearance, and he takes a strike there on the inside corner. It's 0-1 on the Duke center fielder. Off of first is Venuto. Average size lead over there. It's held on by Snyder, and the 0-1 pitch just again misses off the inner edge. Now 1-1. 5-3 your score in favor of Plymouth. 1 out and a runner on first here in the top half of the third as Palmer Checks up on Venuto over there. At first, he dives back in safely. Now steps off the rubber. Third baseman Dashbach plays even with that third base bag. The middle pinch to double play depth. 1-1 pitch. Almost plunks Cheek on the front side hip. He spins out of the way of that one. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Center fielder Cabanis shades towards the left center field gap as Cheek got a piece of that one, fouled it off to the left side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tyler Wyatt led off the frame with a strikeout. James Venuto followed him with a walk. It sets the scene for Chase Cheek here, who bounced on the left side. A crouch stance, slightly open. 2-2, curveball misses above the letters, now 3-2. Another full count. This one to Cheek.
Cheek's got to keep that breaking pitch in his mind there. You saw Palmer not afraid to go to it with Wyatt on the 3-2 count.
Payoff pitch misses high and away for ball 4, so 2 walks in a row. To second base goes Venuto. Cheek aboard at first. For the catcher, Hernan Sardinas, who has really made a difference in this ball game. He's 1 for 1 with a 3-run homer just an inning ago.
We talk about how that pitch count gets up, guys working at bats. All 3 batters so far this inning that Palmer has faced, he's run full counts on.
And there you can see on your screen in front of you, Newport pitching coach Kevin Winterroad, David Palmer, and Liam McGill all chatting on the mound. And Winterroad really just trying to calm down Palmer. And anyone who's watched this Newport team knows Palmer has very good stuff on the mound. And right now, just trying to locate that fastball a little more consistently. Home plate umpire James Dion breaks up the meeting. Big spot here for Hernan Sardinas. With runners on first and second and just 1 away. Sardinas out of the University of Maine. He's playing first base here tonight and bats in the number 8 spot. Sardinas is ready. Touches the black barrel of his bat on the center of home plate. Palmer out of the stretch. The black glove set just above the belt buckle. First pitch, backdoor bender in there for a call and strike on the inside corner.
Sardinas, a very comfortable stance up at the plate, you know, really just kind of lazily twitches that bat, sits back on it, and then loads himself up hard.
Looks relaxed. 0-1. This one, a swinging bunt down the third base line, picked up there by Dashbach on the run. He has no play. To third base goes Venuto. To second goes Cheek. We'll see how they want to score it, but Plymouth with the bases loaded here in the top half of the third, and that is an infield single for Sardinas. He's now 2 for 2. So a strikeout to Wyatt. That's how the inning started. But back-to-back walks to James Venuto and Chase Cheek, and now an infield single from Hernan Sardinas brings up the left fielder Connor Brumfield out of Missouri. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. Brumfield bats from the left side, the white arm sleeve on that right arm. Looks at a breaking ball for strike 1. Big spot here, Quinn, for Brumfield, and we've already seen that he can put the ball in play effectively. And if you're Palmer here on the mound, you have to be smart, but you want to throw strikes at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You can't be too careful in this situation.
No, you certainly can't. And if I'm the Gulls, I want to see Palmer go to that deuce a little bit more often. You know, the curveball has been on for him so far here today, and he's just featuring it a little bit too infrequently for my liking. You know, he's throwing it a lot for strikes, throwing the guys off. Obviously, you don't want to lose the surprise factor, but it's looked good when the fastball has been a bit erratic.
Dealt that fastball there, missed just above the letters. It's now 1-1. The third baseman Dashbach plays even with that third base bag. The first baseman Snyder behind Sardinas at first. 1-1 offering. Ground ball right side, gets through for a base hit. Venuto will score. They will hold up Cheek at third. The throw comes in from the right fielder O'Regan. It's cut off by Snyder just off to the right side of the pitching mound. But it's an RBI single off the bat of Connor Brumfield to give Plymouth a 6-3 lead here in the top half of the third.
And a good response for the Pilgrims. Come right out, get one of those runs back, start working towards getting that lead back to where it was. And for Brumfield, you know, he's not trying to do too much at the plate right now. He's struggled mightily to start the season, but just a pair of hits through that right side of the infield for him. Not doing too much, getting it through, and you know, a 2-for-2 ball game with an RBI now has the Pilgrims in a real good spot.
Well, we talked about how this game felt like a pitcher's duel, and then after the 3-run home run from Hernan Sardinas, really Quinn, so much for that, because both teams' offenses have really come to play here tonight.
Yeah, they absolutely has. Refreshing.
This one skied in the air, right side of the infield. Snyder and Webb give chase. It's the second baseman, Webb, who makes the catch on both knees as he slides to retire Pat Dorian on just one pitch. So a much needed out there. Nice play from Webb. Pop out to the number 4 position if you're keeping score with us at home. It brings up Andrew McNeil.
Yeah, that one, the infield fly rule in effect there. And lucky because, like you said, it ended up being a very nice play by Michael Webb, but having to drop down on the knees, that's a little bit dicey there. Fog has cleared up a little bit here, but now darkness starting to descend, and without any clouds to really give different coverage to the ball, it's hard to see it sometimes.
Palmer misses in the dirt with a curveball there. It's 1-0 on Andrew McNeil, the right fielder out of Stetson. He's 0 for 2, reached on an error in the first and struck out in the second. You can sort of see the mist with that fog really rushing from right to left past the lights here at the ballpark. As Palmer deals a fastball high.
And the wind kind of intermittently moving at a pretty good clip across the diamond, too, out of right field, coming into the ballpark.
And you can feel those 16-mile-an-hour winds here in the city by the sea. Palmer falling behind 2-0 to McNeil. Next pitch on the way out of the stretch. Misses high and tight for ball 3.
That one, McNeil jumping back, came very close to hitting him right there on the elbow and bringing in a run. Now with the count where it is, Palmer's got to be very, very careful.
Palmer has to climb the ladder here against McNeil. He's down 3-0 in the count. Gets his sign from McGill. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses downstairs and outside for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk, an RBI walk for Andrew McNeil. Jogging in to cross the plate is Chase Cheek, and the bases are still loaded as Brumfield moves up to second, Sardinas to third, McNeil aboard at first for Brandon Perez, the shortstop out of USC. He is 0 for 2.
As part of that wacky play in his last at bat where the ball gets away on strike 3 and he's able to end up on second and a run coming in as McGill just couldn't locate it.
Looks like we may have a new pitcher here on the mound for the Gulls as manager Al Leva will walk out to the rubber. Grab the ball from David Palmer. His night is over. We'll get you Newport's new relievers name and information when we come back. Plymouth, though, still threatening here in the frame. 2 away, the bases loaded. They lead 7-3. Don't go anywhere. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Newport Gulls. They're going to go to the right-hander out of East Carolina University. It's Samuel Lanier. You cannot close the book just yet on David Palmer as he gave up 7 earned runs on 7 hits through 2.2 innings pitched. He struck out 4 and walked 4, but he is responsible for all the runners on base here in the frame. Andrew McNeil is on first. Connor Brumfield on second. Hernan Sardinas is on third. 2 away here in the top half of inning number 3. And Quinn, this is a really big spot for Lanier, the right-hander out of East Carolina University.
Absolutely it is. I mean, you come right in here and you close the book for Palmer, you get the out, and that run, that lead at 4 runs doesn't feel too bad given the Gulls were able to come right back from that 5-run deficit and pick up 3. But you let a hit go by here, a couple more, and the situation starts to get a little bit more dire for the Gulls.
This is Lanier's third appearance on the season. He's thrown 5 innings thus far with a 1.80 ERA. He has struck out 7, has given up just 2 hits, 1 earned run, and has walked 5. Opponents are hitting just 125 against him, so this is a good spot for Lanier. Just needs 1 out in this frame to get out of the jam. Plymouth at one point in this game led 5-0. That was after the top half of the second, but Newport responded just an inning ago with 3 runs on 3 hits, a walk, and a Plymouth error. And we'll see what Brandon Perez can do. Out of Southern California, the shortstop is 0 for 2. Lanier trying to get Newport out of the frame. Deals a fastball low and outside to Perez for ball 1. And I think, Quinn, if you are Perez up at the plate, you're looking fastball, especially with Lanier just getting out of the bullpen.
Absolutely. You're going to let him throw you a strike probably first to just see what he's got. But you're definitely sitting fastball looking for something here in a big spot.
1-0 fastball right there at the knees on the outer third. 1-1, a big pitch there from Lanier.
I don't want to fall behind to the first batter in a situation like this. You need to stay ahead of Perez and drive the count to where you want it to be. Work your pitches.
He works out of the stretch, the 1-1 pitch. Hard fastball in there for strike 2. Nice job here by Lanier to paint the outer edge right there.
And we talked about it. You think Perez sitting fastball, but just lets that one get by him. It looked like a good pitch to go after for me.
7-3, Plymouth leads. Top 3, 2 away, the bases loaded. A 1-2 count on the number 3 hitting shortstop Brandon Perez. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back. Nice job by Perez to get a piece. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes.
And definitely a little bit of an uptick in speed from Lanier from Palmer. So you got to make that adjustment for Perez, who's already had 2 at-bats in the game. Now seeing a lot firmer stuff here.
The third baseman, Dashbach, plays behind the third base bag at his normal depth. The center fielder, Cabanis, in line with the second base bag. Straight up depth for the defense here for Newport. 1-2, curveball. Once again, fouled off right behind home plate. Perez staying alive against the East Carolina University right-hander.
And Lanier, honestly lucky that breaking ball stayed up as much as it did. When you leave him up in the zone like that, very easy pitch to hit, but that one stayed over the zone, I think. And with 2 strikes, you got Perez swinging at it and not able to do too much with it.
So we'll see what Lanier can do. He bends over that front hip to get that sign from Miguel. He likes what he sees. A 1-2 delivery. Fouled off right side. Ricochets off the Plymouth dugout. Once again, hockey-style dugouts here at the ballpark at Cardines Field. Both are located down the first base line. Newport's is closer to home plate. Plymouth's is closer to first base. There you can see Lanier on the mound, getting back on the hill. Peers into McGill to get the sign. Sets the black glove just above the belt buckle. 1-2. Curveball swung on a miss. Strike 3. It's a huge pitch from Samuel Lanier. Gets Newport out of the inning. But for the Plymouth Pilgrims, they push across 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave them loaded with no Newport errors. We will go to the bottom half of the third. Plymouth now up 7-3 over the Gulls right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back into the broadcast here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Newport trails the Plymouth Pilgrims by a score of 7-3 as we enter the bottom half of inning number 3. Darren Zaslow with you here alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxoud, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims Quinn Kelly, and Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. We are all here with you as Liam McGill looks at a ball that misses wide of the strike zone. It is 1-0, and Dave, you know, you look at this Newport team right now. They are in a 4-run hole here, 7-3. Offensively, though, you've seen some bright spots at least.
Yeah, I mean, they came out of the game slow, 5-0 lead, obviously, for Plymouth, and then they were able to strike back, get a couple more, kind of make it a little closer. and they got the momentum. And then right back in the top of the third, it just kind of fell apart. 2 walks to start off the inning, just not what you want, especially when you're pitching from behind. I would have thought they'd go to the bullpen a little sooner. A couple of walks here, a couple of infield singles, kind of tough at-bats for Palmer, and then before you know it, it's 7-3. Still in this, only a 4-run game, but it's good to get Linear in there. Big spot, kind of getting out of that inning, keeping things relatively close. Here in the bottom of the third, they're going to have to get some momentum back.
This one lined to left field. It'll get down a base hit and roll all the way to the fence. Around first, heading for second is Liam McGill. He will pull in there, standing up with a leadoff double here in the bottom half of the third. It is hit number 5 for Newport. And Quinn, it's a great start if you are a Gulls fan.
It absolutely is, and they continue to battle. You know, they just 2 strikes on the batter again, and White just hasn't had the same put-away stuff we're used to him having. And Gulls taking advantage. You know, you'd like to see him not stay away from the strike zone more, because that's how you start getting the walks and the high pitch count. But a pitch like that where you can really drive, you just can't be giving that up with 2 strikes ahead of the batter.
Cade Cabanis steps in. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Looks at a fastball low and inside for ball 1. 71 pitches thus far for Ben White, the right-hander who is starting the ball game for Plymouth out of Duke. 46 strikes and 25 balls. Off of second is McGill, the pitch. Swung on and missed by Cabanis, now 1-1. Cabanis out of Oklahoma State entered the ball game with a .208 batting average, 5 for 23, 2 runs scored and an RBI. Swings it from the left side, stands tall with the open stance. He'll foul this one off to push the count to 1-2. White, though, thus far, Quinn, has only given up 1 walk, and 1 Plymouth error thus far hasn't helped him either.
No, it hasn't. It's just felt like, you know, he's getting the 3-ball counts, whether he's getting them out or getting hits.
This one a 1-hopper to first baseman Sardinas. He picks it up on a knee, takes it to the bag himself in time. To third base goes Liam McGill. 3 unassisted if you're keeping score with us at home. Brings up the right fielder Liam O'Regan, who walked and scored back in Newport's 3-run second.
And that a productive out there for Cabanis. And it looks like it will end the day for White, presumably. Although Coach Zackerson of late has been making all the mound visits, not the pitching coach Charlie Doyle, who tends to just sit out in the bullpen and work with the guys out there. So, don't know quite yet.
Zackerson, like you mentioned, he is the manager of this team. He's assisted by Kyle Decker, Charlie Doyle, and CJ Suarez. And it looks like we are going to have a pitching change here on the mound. We'll get you Plymouth's reliever's name and information when we come back. We're in the bottom half of the third. It's a 7-3 Plymouth lead, but Newport threatening with a runner on third and Liam O'Regan at the plate. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Plymouth Pilgrims. They are going to go to the right-hander, Jack Mahan. He's 5'11", 190 pounds. Quinn, why don't you tell us a little more about him?
Well, Mahan in 2 appearances has been very solid for the Pilgrims. 4 1/3 pitched, giving up just 2 hits over that span. Has had an issue with walks, giving up 3. Not a big power pitcher. He has that mid-80s fastball. He's yielded 1 strikeout so far this season, but has yet to give up a run. So just trying to hold things where it is. Obviously a tight spot with less than 2 outs and that man on third, especially to bring in a guy who's not really a strikeout pitcher. Not a huge chance of him leaving O'Regan at the plate. But if he can just find a way to get O'Regan to make an unproductive out, take it to 2 outs, and then work from there on Duvall.
Ben White, Plymouth starter, is not off the hook just yet after 2 1/3 innings of work as O'Regan check swings this one and gets a piece of it foul. Sends it off to the right side and out of play. It is 0-1. The final line on Ben White, Plymouth starter out of Duke University. When 2.1 innings pitched, gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, struck out 3 and walked 1, but he is responsible for Liam McGill on third base, who led off the frame with a double into left field. Liam O'Regan at the dish, the right fielder out of Elon. Stands with the crouch stance. The 0-1 pitch. Misses high, 1-1.
And quite frankly, for White, if not for the fact that he was getting worked so deep into so many at-bats and had that pitch count at 75 pitches when he left, not the worst outing. I mean, not a great outing by any stretch of the imagination, but it really just comes down to both these pitchers, both the starters today getting chased early because they just couldn't keep the pitch counts in check.
Mahan, the Eckerd College right-hander, misses up and in with that one. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike on O'Regan. Off of third is McGill. Pitch on the way. Misses low for ball 3.
That one close there. Looked right at the bottom of the zone, but Mahan doesn't get the call. Now he's far behind O'Regan. And you obviously don't want to let that base runner on, but O'Regan with some good power can't give him something too good to hit here.
Plymouth out hitting Newport 7-5, the 3-1. This is upstairs for ball 4. Nice at bat. Liam O'Regan puts runners on the corners. First and third for the designated hitter, Ty Duvall out of Vanderbilt. He is 1 for 1 with a run scored. He singled and crossed the plate back in the second.
You see Hernan Sardinas coming in to chat with Mahan, figure out if there's something he needs to look for to see if you're going to get a pickoff move. The one disadvantage that the Pilgrims really do seem to have is that they have such a righty-heavy staff, only 2 lefties in the organization from the mound for the Pilgrims. So hard, especially Mahan with not the quickest motion to the plate, for him to keep on O'Regan here, who has decent speed, and with that runners on the corner situation, Sardinas and he are going to have to communicate well.
Sets the black glove, letter high, paints the outside corner with a fastball. It is 0-1 on Ty Duvall.
And if you're Mahan, you just have to think, you know what, get that ground ball. I've got the double play situation there. It could get me out of the inning unscathed. Just got to work low in the zone, try to get something on the ground.
Mahan is ready. So is Duvall. Righty-lefty matchup. 0-1 pitch. This is off the outside edge now. 1-1 on Duvall, the number 7 hitter in this Newport lineup. Of course, the Gulls are managed by second-year manager Al Leyva. The pitching coach is Kevin Winterroad, and the assistant coaches are Eric Degree and Xander Jones. Mahan out of the stretch from the first base side of the rubber. 1-1 offering. Misses off the outside edge, 2-1.
Mentioned that he's had a little bit of a problem with walks, 3 and just 4 1/3. And credit to Venuto here, going out to talk to his pitcher. You can't fall behind another batter here. In a game like this where a lot of runs have been scored early, you don't want to put more men on and give Newport the chance to really, with one swing of the bat, make it a very close ball game.
It's a 7-3 Plymouth lead here in the bottom half of the third. 1 away and runners on the corners. 2-1 is the count to Ty Duvall. The one out in the frame was Cade Cabanis grounding out to first base. 2-1 pitch. Slider in there for strike 2. It's a great pitch on the outside corner.
And for the lack of speed and lack of velocity that Mahan has, he's got really good snap on the slider. And it can make up for that, make him a deceiving pitcher, and keep him in against some of these tough batters.
Sardinas holds O'Regan on at first. Long pause on the mound. Break-even delivery. This one snared on the short hop there by Sardinas. Bobbles, takes the bag in time to first. Crossing the plate is McGill. It's now 7-4 Plymouth on an RBI ground out from Ty Duvall.
And, you know, you got to be okay with that. It was going to be a real battle to keep that man from going to third. Ground ball, not the best chance for a double play there, as it was hard hit, but Sardinas had to range a ways to get to it. Couldn't get it out of the glove clean. A little surprised to see him take it to the bag himself there.
To second base goes O'Regan. A nice job there by McGill. It's a good read off of third as Kevin Heiss will step in. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out. Bats from the left side, does the switch hitting shortstop, looks at a fastball up and away for ball 1. Heiss from the University of Rhode Island. And for the Rams this past spring, Heiss played in 39 games with 37 starts at .236. Takes a fastball down and away for ball 2. O'Regan is on second base. He walked and advanced into scoring position on Duval's RBI groundout that scored Liam McGill. 7-4 Plymouth leads. 2-0 pitch. Strike one called outside corner on a fastball. 2-1. It's been a very offensive ball game thus far. Off of second is O'Regan, takes that walking lead. Mahan looks at him a couple times as Heiss squares around to bunt. And a pitch that was just above the strike zone, now 3-1. So a big spot here for Heiss. Michael Webb waits on deck. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored. 3-run from the Eckerd College right-hander. This one bounced up the middle. To his right goes Dorian, sets his feet, throw to first. In time, just gets Heiss by a step, and the inning is over. For Newport, the Gulls get 1 run on 1 hit, leave 1 aboard with no Plymouth errors. We'll go to the top half of the 4th with a score. Plymouth 7, Newport 4. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network as we go to the top half of inning number 4. It is a 7-4 lead in favor of the Plymouth Pilgrims. And with that being said, I'm going to turn over the play-by-play reins over to the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly.
Thank you very much, Darren. It is Pat McCall digging in to lead things off for the Pilgrims. Had an RBI single in his last at bat. He's 1 for 2 on the night. And he's facing off against Samuel Lanier. Back out here, Lanier picking up the last out of the 3rd, getting Perez to strike out to end the inning with the bases loaded. And the first pitch swinging is McCall. He hammers that one out to center on a high fly. Under it, now trailing back and making the catch out there is Cade Cabanis. That ball looked like it had a little bit of late action on it, but Cabanis adjusted well and made the catch.
I'll tell you what, Quinn, I don't think Cabanis was able to see where that ball was given this fog. Given how difficult it is to see, which you've mentioned a couple times here on the broadcast. In terms of temperature, about 67 degrees, very pleasant. But not easy to see. Pop flies, and that one was skied in the air off the bat of McCall. Nice job by the shortstop, Heiss, to yell to Cabanis where that ball was. It was back to his left, and he made the play.
Now Tyler Wyatt digs in, takes ball 1. Wyatt 1 for 2, single to begin a 5-run second for the Pilgrims. Came around to score. Struck out looking in his last at bat. This his first time up against Lanier here, and takes ball 2 there to get up 2-0.
Yeah, Lanier likes to go to that fastball early on in the count, can really work it both sides of the plate.
2-0 is swung on, lifted foul, and back out of play over this home plate seating here. Lanier fires in, and another one swung on and fouled off by Wyatt. He's been on. You know, he's made a lot of contact tonight. Obviously had the single in the 2nd. Fouled a few pitches off in that strikeout against Palmer that began the 3rd. Finds himself 2-2 here. Breaking ball from Lanier up over the zone. Misses, and the count is full.
Yeah, Lanier here, important to try and at least make Wyatt put this ball in play. Your Newport infield has only made 1 error thus far behind you. That was back in the 1st inning on an error by Michael Webb.
Payoff pitch, this one swung on and roped out to center. It'll fall in front of Cabanis, and Wyatt is 2 for 3 on the day with a pair of singles.
Yeah, that ball was well struck off the bat, and there Lanier just went to that fastball, and credit Wyatt not over swinging. Probably had a decent idea what was coming, especially in that count, and it was a hard fastball, one that's not easy to hit. But Wyatt put the barrel on the ball and struck that one well into center field.
First multi-hit game for Wyatt, and that'll bring up now James Venuto with 1 out. He walked and scored in his last at-bat, flew out in his first. Takes ball 1 here from Lanier.
And that is the 8th hit of the contest for Plymouth.
Venuto winning the Week 1 Player of the Week award. Had a very quiet Week 2. This one hit on the ground, softly to first. They go to second, and the throw is out. That one missed there, and Wyatt is going to scamper over to third as he slid in safely. Just a low throw that Heiss was going to have a tough play to make, as that one just kind of dipped down as Wyatt was sliding, and he couldn't get a glove on it.
Yeah, I actually think that one hit Wyatt either on the shoulder or the helmet, and Snyder there with a nice job to get to that ball, and the ball actually hit Wyatt, and Plymouth here in business with runners on the corners.
Hasn't been the tightest of defensive games on either side. I mentioned it, that's just the second error for the Gulls. Pilgrims with one of their own, but the first one for the Gulls, inconsequential. This one appears as though it could potentially be a bit more costly. Chase Cheek trying to make him pay, swinging on the first pitch and fouls that one off into the screen on the left side, 0-1.
A big spot here for Cheek, and again, he has been very good getting on base with those 2 walks, the 2 runs scored. A lot of production, Quinn, from this bottom third of the Plymouth lineup, and how about it? No one in this bottom third of the lineup has gotten out. How about that? Combined, they're 4 for 4 with 2 walks and 4 runs scored. Cheek, Sardinas, and Brumfield. Really good numbers.
Absolutely, and Sardinas, of course, has that 3-run homer as well, and a pair of 2 for 2 guys behind Cheek. You don't want to let him reach and get to them with less than 2 outs. Count is 1-1. Lanier comes, that one outside, and Cheek has been working some really solid at-bats tonight.
Seeing a lot of pitches, and he's remaining patient, most importantly. Lanier thus far, 20 pitches thrown here in the contest.
Quick innings have been non-existent so far here tonight as Cheek fouls that one off on the left again into the screen. We are about 7 minutes away from the 8:30 mark here. The game will then be 2 hours old, and we're just here in the top of the 4th right now.
And that's what you'd expect. 11 runs, 13 hits, 2 combined errors, actually 3.
That one upstairs, and the count runs full on Cheek.
A lot of walks for both of these teams.
Trying to avoid the 5th as a staff here is Lanier. Previous 4 all credited to Palmer. This would be his first. Trying to come in the zone, and he does. Gets him. Swinging through that one is Cheek. He's retired for the first time tonight, and there are 2 away runners hanging at the corners.
Yeah, it's a great pitch there from Lanier. That's what you want. It's a hard pitch to drive. He went to the outside fastball. Probably would have been called strike 3. Tough pitch to hit. Lanier gets the job done, 2 down.
Now Hernan Sardinas will step in. He's had himself a real solid day at the plate. 3-run homer in the 2nd, singled in the 3rd. Up here in the 4th, looking for his 3rd hit of the ball game. Gonna need it if the Pilgrims hope to draw some blood here in the 4th. Score is 7-4. Tyler Wyatt on 3rd, Venuto behind him. About 180 feet at first, and the first pitch in there, a strike to Sardinas.
Went to the backdoor curveball there in Sardinas, who has been great. So has this bottom third of the Plymouth lineup, but that's what you want. You want to keep him off balance. Big spot for Lanier.
The 0-1 pitch, another breaking ball this time. Misses over the top of the zone and outside, and it's 1-1. Everybody in the Pilgrims order so far today has reached base for the Gulls. 3 members still looking to make their first trip onto the base paths. Lanier comes set. The 1-1 pitch will have to wait as he fakes the 3rd, steps back off, and chases both runners back to the bag. Two away here, top 4. Pilgrims and the Gulls locking horns for the 2nd time this season. This one swung on and missed. Heavy hack there from Sardinas, but a fastball gets by him, overpowered there by Lanier.
When you throw 2 curveballs there on the first couple pitches. It makes that fastball look even harder and therefore tougher to hit. Would love to see the velocity difference between the fastball and the curveball. Probably pretty significant.
Gonna get a check on Venuto at first. He's back in standing. And you're paying an awful lot of attention to him over there with 2 outs. Venuto does have that empty bag ahead of him, but not a ton of speed from the catcher out of Elon. Sardinas awaits the 1-2 here. Comes from Lanier, breaking ball. He holds up. And they're going to give him a check and say he was safe. Catcher McGill jumping up to tag him in case he was ruled to have gone around.
And that's the great thing about Lanier's curveball, Quinn, is it really looks like a fastball for about 50 to 55 feet. That is tough to pick up, and that last second break, like you saw, going to the back foot of Sardinas.
Another breaking ball this time upstairs, and it's 3-2. So Lanier having similar problems to Pilgrim starter Ben White, and even a little bit to Palmer, where even when he's getting ahead of batters, the count is running up a little bit. Third full count of the inning here for Lanier, trying to get the better of Sardinas. This one swung on, roped out to center. A beat on it, though, has Cabanis, and he makes the catch. And Hurd and Sardinas retired for the first time. The Pilgrims come up empty in the fourth. We head to the bottom half of the inning. Gulls looking to cut away at this 3-run deficit here. Trail the Pilgrims 7-4 on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom 4 here on a foggy night in Newport. Pilgrims and the Gulls, the only 2 teams in the NECBL in action. A couple other games rained out. And kick it over to you, Dave. Tell us what's going on with the weather here.
Yeah, basically all of Connecticut is underwater right now. The Mystic Schooners and the Ocean State Waves are not playing their game, as you can look at the Doppler radar there of New England. And up in Vermont, Montpelier, the Mountaineers and Valley Blue Sox have not started their game and will not start their game tonight, as they are rained out as well. So the Gulls and the Pilgrims, only game in action tonight for the NECBL.
And there you can see just tons of storms in this New England area. You can see some sort of red and yellow splotches there on that radar. That's indicative of some pretty severe weather that is moving somewhat in this direction, but for the time being, I mean, the weather here is nice. It's a nice night for baseball, and we'll see what Newport can do here in the bottom half of the fourth, Quinn.
Well, they'll have Michael Webb digging in, flashes the bunt and pulls back. Jack Mahan out for his second inning of work. Looking to produce his first full. You said it, getting lucky is that weather just narrowly avoiding us right now. Sitting on the coast, the rain a little bit more inland. Mahan misses again up and away, and it's 2-0 now to the leadoff man in the fourth. Webb is 1 for 1 today. Picked up an RBI on the single in the second inning. That one misses upstairs, and it's 3-0. Mahan not really finishing his pitches off right now, everything up and away. Mahan comes to the set. Gonna just get one over here. 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Webb thought it a bit low and was getting ready to flip the bat.
Yeah, it was a pitch that could have gone either way, but just want to make Mahan throw some pitches here. You want to make him work on the mound. Newport being very stingy at the plate thus far.
3-1 pitch fouled off into the screen on the third base side. Count is now full, and I really can't even think of how many, but we have had a ton of full counts here tonight.
Numerous. And 4 walks for Plymouth, just 2 for the Gulls thus far.
Payoff pitch fouled off, and we'll do it again. Maybe another 3-2 count on Webb.
So you think about it, right? You know, you've got 6 combined walks, 13 combined hits, 11 combined runs, and 3 combined errors. It's not surprising why this game has been moving slowly.
This one hit on the ground, fielded at short by Perez, fires on, and Sardinas picks it up at first on a high throw, and The out is recorded. So one away here in the fourth, and we'll kick it back over, flip the lineup card back to the top for Cameron Meisner, who's 2 for 2 in tonight's ballgame.
Yeah, he's been great at the top of the order, and you've seen Drew Archiolo there in the leadoff spot for the Gulls, who's done well. Cameron Meisner here tonight doing a nice job as well. The leadoff spot for Newport, whether it's been Archiolo or Meisner, it has been very, very good at setting the table for the rest of the offense.
First pitch from Mahan in there for a called strike, right about belt high to Meisner. Meisner with an RBI in his last at bat. Pair of singles tonight. Got a lot of speed. Mahan doesn't want to let him on. He's got 3 stolen bases so far this season just against the Pilgrims. 0-1 pitch outside for a ball.
Newport really being efficient with their hits. Those 4 runs on the 5 hits here tonight, helped out by 1 Plymouth error.
Mahan's 1-1. Misses in a very similar spot to the last, and he's behind 2-1.
And here with the fog at the ballpark, I mean, literally all that you can see is maybe the top of these fences, and that's about it. Again, not too chilly, not too cold, but it is tough to see fly balls.
That one in there for a called strike, and it's 2-2 now. And I'll tell you what, we had a bit of a break, I felt like, in the middle of this ball game, or at least what has gone on so far in this ball game, where the fog kind of cleared up a bit, but it's rolled in thick again, and got a tough time seeing the outfielders here from behind the plate. Swing and a miss on a pitch on the inside half, low and in. And Meisner could do nothing with it, retired for the first time tonight by Mahan.
Yeah, it's a really tough pitch to hit there from Mahan. That's a perfectly placed changeup, Quinn. Right on the inner third, started at the knees, broke to the ankles. Not something that you can drive, but I don't blame Meisner for swinging. That's a hard pitch that looks like a fastball for out number 2.
Mahan has retired 4 batters after beginning his outing with a walk. And he has got Andrew Dashback in there. That one misses upstairs 1-0. He's looking for the first 1-2-3 inning for either side tonight. Dashbach 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout and reached on an error in the second. That one just missing inside. It's 2-0.
Mahan falling behind here a little bit. He's thrown 25 pitches, 14 of which have been balls, 11 for strikes.
Really haven't seen anybody work efficiently on the bump tonight at Cardines. And now it's 3-0 as Mahan struggling to locate.
And it's been a dual effort. You know, these offenses have been stingy at the plate. They've done a nice job of working counts, and working counts deep as well. It's not easy to face that.
That one misses inside. Mahan turns his head, walks off the back of the mound, frustrated with that, feeling like he's getting a little bit pinched on the left side of that plate. Inside to righties, out to lefties. And aboard is Dashbach with the walk. That's the 3rd walk issued tonight by Pilgrims pitching. If I'm not mistaken, the 7th overall in the ball game.
Yep, 4 for Plymouth, 3 for Newport. You're exactly right. And both of these teams getting on base a lot here tonight.
Well, the first pitch swung on and fouled off. This is Gabe Snyder digging in. Snyder, one of 3 Gulls and 3 players in this ball game who have yet to reach base tonight. Looking to flip the script here in the 4th. 2 outs. Dashbach aboard at first after taking that walk. 0-1 from Mahan, swung on and missed, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, this is Snyder's Newport debut here in 2017 with the Gulls, adding some needed power there from that left side, and always nice to have more left-handed bats as well in this lineup. He's made a couple nice defensive plays here tonight as well.
Man looking for his second punch out here. Comes the 0-2. Breaking ball misses up. 1-2. Mahan came on in relief. with 1 away in the third. He's recorded the last 4 outs for the Pilgrims. Looking to pick up the 5th and get out of the 4th. Keep that 7-4 lead where it is for Plymouth. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Second strikeout of the inning, 3rd on the season for Mahan, and sends us to the dugouts. Pilgrims leading at 7-4. We'll be back in a moment here with the 5th inning between the Gulls and the Pilgrims on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Nine 1-2 for the Pilgrims here in the top of the 5th inning. They lead things over the Gulls 7-4. They'll send Brumfield, Dorian, and McNeil up to bat in the inning. If anyone gets on, the 3-man Perez behind him. Samuel Lanier back out for the Gulls. And the cleanest inning thus far, I guess outside of the first inning for Palmer. Pilgrims had scored 5 in the second, 2 in the third, but were held scoreless by Lanier there in the 4th. For the Gulls, 3 in the second, 1 in the third. Same type deal, bookended by 2 scoreless endings in the 1st and the 4th. We'll see how the 5th plays out here. Connor Brumfield digging in, 2 for 2 tonight. Talked about how the bottom of the order has been effective for the Pilgrims tonight. Chase Cheek and Hernan Sardinas both reaching in their first 2 at-bats before being retired by Lanier here in the 4th. Now Brumfield 2 for 2. We'll see if Lanier can get him. He takes strike 1 on the inside half.
Well, this is interesting, Quinn, because we talked about before the break how Snyder adds some much-needed power from the left side for this Newport lineup. The Gulls have the 2nd fewest home runs in the NECBL with 4.
This one fouled off into the screen. And for the Pilgrims, with the home run earlier tonight by Sardinas, they are now in a tie for first. Came into the ball game last in the league in batting average, but again, 4 and 5, and that can be attributed to the surplus of power they've had.
And you see both teams with low batting averages, but very different types of offenses.
3-pitch strikeout as Brumfield swings through that one from Lanier. Starts off the inning about as well as you can. And we'll give it back up to Dorian as the Pilgrims flip the lineup. Dorian, a former 12th round draft pick of the Atlanta Braves. Signed on there, but left the team. A high A ball after a week, went back to college. Ended up where he is now at Lynn University, a D2 school, ineligible right now for D1 ball. And drills that one back to Lanier. Stabbed, a great play by the pitcher, and he flips on to first to record the 2nd out. So 4 pitches and 2 outs for Lanier. About as effective as we've seen any pitcher work today.
Well, how about Dorian with a lot of speed down that first base line? I know that ball was hard hit, but Dorian, you can see there on your replay, was really only out by about a step and a half. That is hustle there on a ball that you're going to be out the majority of the time on. That's what you like to see if you are Plymouth manager Greg Zackerson.
Absolutely. Dorian becoming an everyday player for the Pilgrims, and it's that combination of blazing speed and hustle that's helped them to get there. Bunt attempt here, and that one is fouled off the catcher by Andrew McNeil. And coming up a little bit limp there is Liam McGill.
And Newport with the 2nd fewest home runs in the NECBL, the 2nd lowest batting average. Those 4 home runs, 3 of them being from Liam O'Regan, and 1 happening last night on the road in a 10-8 loss at Valley. That one a solo shot off the bat of Andrew Dashbach, who is starting tonight's contest at 3rd base. But that's just interesting, Quinn, the contrast in offenses here. You've got a very power-potent offense with the Pilgrims, who tie, for the league lead in home runs with 11, and then Newport 2nd fewest. And they both find themselves at the bottom of the NECBL in terms of team average. So, what do you put that on? What is that? Well, when you look at some of the strikeouts here and the strikeout totals, that's a number that is indicative of why this is. Plymouth with 82, Newport with 76. Those are both in the top half of the league. So you wonder why that the averages are low. Well, when you don't put the ball in play that much, that is one of the reasons why.
Breaking ball in there for a strike to McNeil. Pilgrims are trying to avoid another punch out, as it is now 0-2 on the Stetson Hatter.
Yeah, Plymouth with those 82 strikeouts, that's tied for the second most in the league.
0-2 pitch from Lanier, swung on and fouled off. That one gets back to the backstop. They'll stay at 0-2.
Plymouth with a 300 on-base percentage, though. Newport at 292.
I believe those numbers entering today's play, correct?
Yes, entering play. And again, you make a good point, because with this type of contest, those numbers are going to change drastically.
For the Pilgrims, 6 more strikeouts today. Now 7 more as McNeil swings through that. The 89th total for the team on the season. And that gets the Gulls a 1-2-3 inning, the first recorded in tonight's ball game. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Gulls trying to come back down 7-4 to the Pilgrims here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. New pitcher on here in the 5th for the Pilgrims. It's Drew Korzybski getting things going for him after an inning and 2/3 of work by Jack Mahan. For Korzybski, he's made 2 appearances. He's pitched 7 1/3 for the Pilgrims. Given up 9 hits. He was a part of that disastrous inning that ended up in a loss, the 7th inning against Ocean State, where 5 runs came in, so few of them earned. So you see he's had 7 runs in on his watch. Only 3 of them earned so far this season. He's issued 1 walk and struck out 4. Has a 1-0 record with just 1 extra base hit against him. 3.68 ERA for Korzybski, and he is out of Eastern Tennessee State University.
Yeah, big spot here for Liam McGill, and we've talked about how important it is to put the leadoff man on base. Newport has done that just 2 of 4 times here tonight. And you're in striking distance right now, down by just 3, 7-4 the deficit right now for the Gulls. You're in the middle of your lineup with McGill, Cabanis, and O'Regan. Definitely players who can make some noise here offensively.
First pitch in the dirt, ball 1 on McGill. We saw take a foul bunt attempt by McNeil off the hand. Able to stay in the game, and you hope it doesn't affect him here in the batter's box.
Korzybski, Quinn, pretty much about as over the top as it gets with that delivery.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Comes very much a downhill pitcher. First Pilgrim out of ETSU. 1-0 swung on, kind of a half-hearted swing there as McGill wanted to hold up, but ended up coming through all the way around.
We'll get you your final line on Plymouth reliever John Mahan after the pitch.
1-1 from Korzybski. Swung on and missed. A lot more intent behind the swing from McGill, but same result, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, final line on Mahan, the right-hander out of Eckerd College. He threw 1.2 scoreless innings, walked 2, struck out 2, faced 6 batters. He was very effective.
Absolutely he was. 1-2 pitch from Korzybski. In there on the corner. Strike 3. Painted the black well there. McGill doesn't like it. But there is 1 retired here in the 5th.
Well, 3 of Newport's past 4 hitters have struck out, and the Gulls have not recorded a hit since the 3rd, when it was Liam McGill who led off that frame with the double.
So now a full trip through the lineup without a hit. That one misses upstairs. It's now Cade Cabanis stepping in. He is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Strikeout and a ground out to first. Helped move McGill along in his last at bat to score the 4th run for the Gulls in the 3rd. This one in there for a strike to even things up at 1-1 with 1 away here in the 5th.
And Quinn, we've talked about the fog, and if you look at the lights here at the ballpark, you could actually see how thick that fog actually is. It's a lot.
This one misses in there, 2-1 now.
You can kind of see it on your screen in front of you with the outfield shot. There it is. You can see in left center field and right center field how thick that fog is. The lights really casting the light onto that Fogg.
This one drilled out to center, coming in and making the catch on a diving bid there is Chase Cheek, saving a base hit and picking up the second out in the inning for the Pilgrims.
Yeah, what a read there by Cheek. That was a well-struck ball off the bat of Cabanis, and a great read by Cheek. Seeing where that ball was, it's going to tail to his right, and there you can see on the instant replay the nice diving grab by the center fielder for Plymouth in Cheek.
He's made a couple of those on the season. A really solid glove out there in center field. First pitch swung on and missed by O'Regan, who's not recorded an official at bat so far today, has reached twice with walks and came around to score once, looking for his first hit in the ball game. 0-1 pitch from Korzybski in there. That outside blank opening up a little bit here to righties in this inning.
And you can see the American flag on the warehouse there down the right field line waving. The wind definitely being felt here at the ballpark.
Now 0-2. Korzybski kicks and deals. Upstairs 1-2.
But still, in terms of temperature, pretty pleasant. There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that flag. Still waving there a little bit right above the warehouse as the fog continues to creep onto the field even thicker now.
That one in there, breaking ball on the outside. The second time, Korzybski picks up one looking on that outside black in the inning. It's a 1-2-3, so the Pilgrims pick up one of their own after the 1-2-3 inning by the Gulls in the top half. So we are through 5 here at Cardines Field. The Pilgrims still ahead of the Gulls 7-4 on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back in now to Cardines Field for the 6th inning. Pilgrims and Gulls going at it tonight. Pilgrims have the edge right now, up 7-4, but having trouble getting anything going off of Gulls reliever Samuel Lanier back out there. Had an 8-pitch inning in the 5th en route to a 1-2-3 bid, and that hit was far quicker than plenty of the at-bats that we saw tonight on either side. Now Lanier back up onto the rubber. He'll have Perez and the 3-4-5 men for the Pilgrims in the inning. First pitch, Perez is swinging, hits that towards the gap, backhanded at short and fired across. No, not in time. The throw drew the first baseman, Gabe Snyder, off the bag as Heiss made a great play to get to it, but just couldn't get a throw there on the bag.
Yeah, they're going to rule that an error on Heiss, and that's just a tough play. Credit Heiss, like you mentioned, Quinn, even being able to get to that base. Well, that was past the dive of Dashbach there, and on the replay, you can see that ball pulls Snyder just down the line, and with the speed of Perez, he's able to beat that out. Nice job by the replay crew to get a good look at that one, but you can see that Perez was just under that tag of Snyder.
So now digging in, Pat McCall, 1 for 3 in tonight's ball game with an RBI, taking strike one on the breaker there from Lanier. For Perez, it's his second trip onto the base paths, but an 0 for 4 evening so far.
And for Newport, error number 3.
This one swung on, fouled off by McCall, back to the backstop. And it's quickly 0-2 to the DH out of Harvard.
Hits have pretty much stagnated since that 3rd inning, Quinn. 8 hits for Plymouth, just 5 for the Gulls. Both teams have been efficient on their hits, though.
Absolutely, they have. For the Pilgrims, the last hit, a single by Wyatt back in the 4th. This one, though, gets through by the second baseman Webb, and McCall has a hit. This one fired back into second, just diving back in time is Perez as he took too far of a turn there at second. And he has to leap back into the bag on a strong throw by O'Regan, who almost nabbed Perez on the base path for a second time tonight.
Well, that was so close, and Perez hesitant there rounding second base, and you can see it on the replay right here. Gets around second base, is thinking about 3, then at the last minute dives back in just under the tag of Heiss. Great job there by Newport right fielder Liam O'Regan to get that ball back in quickly into second base. It was a really close play.
So McCall breaks up an 8-batter hitless streak for the Pilgrims, and now Tyler Wyatt steps in, taking ball one on the breaking ball from Lanier.
You know, they teach you to go first to third there on a ball, and really any ball hit to the right of that second base bag, and Perez just a little hesitant around that bag.
He's once experienced tonight the strength of the arm of Liam O'Regan, so perhaps that's the reason for his hesitance to take third there.
And O'Regan also playing shallow, at least comparatively to the normal dimensions of a ballpark in the NECBL, with that right field fence being at 285 feet.
Doesn't have to play too far back to be able to cover all the way back to the wall. Wyatt swings and ropes one, but that one's going to hook foul. Got a real good piece of that one, but just out ahead of it, and it's just a loud foul to make it 2-1.
Well, it went up into the fog there, and you know, who knows how far that one went, but that one just had that home run sound off the bat, Quinn, and I'll tell you what, Wyatt just a little out in front of that offering from the East Carolina right-hander and Sam Lanier.
He's had a couple hard hits tonight on his way to a 2-for-3 outing. Looking to continue to build off it here. First and second for the Pilgrims with nobody out. And that breaking ball misses to make it 3-1.
You know, it brings up an interesting situation because now that you're in a 3-1 count, you're probably not bunting with Wyatt, but kind of understanding how this game has been going with those early runs scored, and since then it's been a pretty defensive and pitching-based game. Do you really look for the insurance here and play the 90-foot game?
This one misses in the dirt, and Wyatt aboard with a walk. So they elect not to go that route and end up with the bases loaded. And that's going to bring McGill out to chat with Lanier, who's showing his first signs of being able to be hit here in the sixth. And Coach Al Leyva heading out to the mound to have a chat as well, and it looks like he's going to make a pitching change. So we're going to send it to a quick break. On our return, we'll have the name and numbers for the new pitcher for the Gulls. It's 7-4 Pilgrims with the bases loaded here in the sixth. Back here, the new pitcher for the Gulls, it's Kyle Mora. Yet to make an appearance for him, but I'm sure you've got some numbers on him, Darren. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Kyle Mora, 6'2", 185 pounds, out of UCLA. And this year for the Bruins, he threw 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 4 hits, struck out 2 and walked 2, had a 9.00 ERA. Made 2 appearances, did not have a record. He was rated the number 92 high school prospect in the state of California by Perfect Game. He's also ranked the number 500 top high school prospects in the United States by Perfect Game. And in addition, in 2016, he was a Rawlings Perfect Game honorable mention All-American selection. Once again, Mora on the mound to relieve Sam Lanier, the right-hander from East Carolina, in this ball game. We'll get you Lanier's final numbers here in this contest. And for Lanier, 2.1 innings pitched, did not give up a run, struck out 4, walked 1. He faced 12 batters. He is responsible for Wyatt on first and McCall on second and Perez on third. So the base is juiced for Mora. Big spot for Plymouth, Quinn, if they want to extend this lead.
Absolutely. The Pilgrims only able to eke out 2 hits against Lanier. Hoping to find better luck against Mora, and James Venuto will dig in to try to get things started. Oh, I believe we have a pinch hitter. It is going to be Brandon Martirano, the catcher out of UNC, taking over for Venuto. So Martirano steps in to a big spot here for the Pilgrims and takes the first pitch from Mora for a strike. Martirano joining the team late after his team finished up their NCAA tournament run. The Heels holding that #1 seed in the country for a time, but fizzling out a bit as the season came to its conclusion. Martirano swings and foul tips that one into the mitt. So it's 0-2. There are nobody out. Perez aboard at third after reaching on an error. McCall at second after singling, and Wyatt walked in the last at bat aboard at first. This one on the outside edge and in there for a strike. And there is one away here. A good job by Mora getting a 3-pitch strikeout and sitting down Martirano, and that will certainly alleviate a bit of the pressure in the situation. A ground ball could very likely get the Gulls out of the inning.
That would be huge. A double play needed against the speedy Chase Cheek. Not going to be easy to do, not impossible. Going to need something hard hit on the ground.
That one in there for a strike to Cheek. More of 4 pitches, 4 strikes to start things off. And that K by Martirano. You know, that is the 3rd time that we've seen a lefty in the past inning and a half or so take one on that outside edge and get rung up. A 1 pitch. Cheek hits one on the ground. Could be a double play ball, but it's bobble at second, and everybody, no, they're going to say that Cheek was in there, or not in time at first. I thought he had just beaten that one out, but it appears he did not. Nevertheless, a run comes in for the Pilgrims, and it's 8-4, as bobbling it there at second was Webb. Didn't have a chance for the double play.
Yeah, it would have been a tough one to turn on. I don't even know if Webb, if he would have been able to field that, if they would have gotten a double play. Probably not with his momentum going the opposite direction from his throw to Heiss at second. Tough play, and you can see on the replay that throw really close. Really close play, as we'll see what Hernan Sardinas can do.
Takes strike 1, excuse me. Yeah, Cheek just too much speed. No, it was in fact the ball. I'm sorry, scoreboard catching up here in the ballpark. We're past the 9 o'clock hour here, 9:04 on the eastern seaboard. It's been a long one, folks, here in the 6th. Pilgrims trying to build on an 8-4 lead. Sardinas swinging to that one and fouling it off to the backstop. Make it 1-1.
Yeah, Sardinas just a little bit late on that offering, but I'll tell you what, I like what I'm seeing here from Mora. He's at least throwing strikes. He's doing the job, and he's making Plymouth's bats work. That's exactly what you want from the right-hander out of UCLA.
Now the 1-1 to Sardinas. Swung on. That one is lifted high. O'Regan looks like he's got a beat on it, but this one gets off the wall. Can barely see it out there, folks. O'Regan fires in. Sardinas stops at second, but it's a 2 RBI double. 5 ribbies in the game for Sardinas, and he's made it a 6-run lead for the Pilgrims, up 10-4.
Yeah, that ball went straight up into the fog. O'Regan practically disappeared out there, and you can see it on the replay. He's going back into that deep triangle, sees that ball off the top of the fence. Couple runs, easily score on the play. It's a nice job there by Sardinas, knowing where that ball is for the most part. Holding up at second base, you're in scoring position for Brumfield.
And what a day for Sardinas now. 3 for 4, a homer, a double, and a single with 5 RBIs. Brumfield swinging and fouling one off down the third base line. Start things off.
Well, Sardinas just a triple short of the cycle, Quinn, and that's something to take a look at here.
A very rare feat in baseball. And you just question, being Sardinas a lefty in a not a strictly or a dead pull hitter by any means, but a pull hitter nevertheless in that short porch and right. It'd be tough to get one into a gap with the moderate speed that he has. But either way, a very good day and exciting for him to just have the chance. Brumfield hits this one towards the gap at first, turning and firing just in time is Gabe Snyder. Made a good play and tossed on to a covering Mora to get out of the inning. But the Pilgrims push 3 across and lead it now 10-4. Heading to the bottom of the 6th here. Gulls up to bat on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 6th, Drew Korzybski back out to the mound for the Pilgrims, and he will deal with the bottom of the Gulls order. 7, 8, 9 coming to bat. That starts out with Ty Duvall. 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI and a run scored.
Newport here, Quinn just trying to chip away, and this Plymouth offense has really come alive in this ball game. You take a look at the hit totals thus far, 10 for Plymouth, 5 for the Gulls. Newport has not recorded a hit since Liam McGill led off the third inning with a double into left field. The Gulls just trying to find a way to get on base and chip away here.
First pitch swinging and drilling that one out deep to center and off the wall. Cheek fields it, fires back in, but it's a leadoff double for Ty Duvall.
That's what you want. It's a great piece of hitting by Duvall. He's now 2 for 3. Going the other way with that pitch. That was a fastball down and away, and Duvall, there you can see, took it off the fence, and it took a weird hop there off the fence on Cheek. Duvall easily able to pull in there with a double, as you can see on your screen in front of you, was giving his batting gloves to Newport first base coach Eric DeGree down there. Great job by Duvall to get things going. 6th hit of the night for the Gulls.
Now Heiss digs in. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. And he has a duck out on the pond in Duvall, looking for the 5th run for the Gulls. First pitch in there for a strike. 0-1, Korzybski coming on in the 5th, getting a 1-2-3 inning for the Pilgrims. The pair of strikeouts. First hit against him there by Duvall. Breaking ball in there, and it's 0-2 now to Heiss.
Yeah, went to the 12-6 curveball there. Did Korzybski, and that one really just broke pretty much top to bottom there. It's a nice pitch.
So now the 0-2 coming. Korzybski delivers. This one is hit right back up the middle. Hesitation there will leave Duvall at third as he started back towards the bag in case it was caught, but it's back-to-back hits here off Korzybski, and runners on the corners for the Gulls here in the 6th.
It's a nice job there from Kevin Heiss, and he can swing it from both sides of the plate. It's his 2nd hit of the season, but that one well struck. There you can see the center fielder Cheek really getting that ball in quickly. It's a nice pick by Sardinas there behind the mound. If that ball got past him, Heiss could have moved up to second base. It's the little things in a game like this where, you know, a 6-run lead, Quinn, really doesn't feel like that much.
No, it certainly doesn't the way these offenses have been going tonight. This one in there for a strike to now Michael Webb, who stands in. 6-run lead, you said it doesn't feel too big, but you do have a little room to play with, and if you're the Pilgrims here, you're just looking for a ground ball. You'll give up that run if you can get a pair of outs. 0-1 on Webb, swung on and missed as he was going after a pitch outside there. Couldn't get the bat out to reach it. Brandon Martirano is behind the dish after coming on to pinch hit for Venuto. He's got a fantastic arm. He is a plus defender. Another 0-2. Korzybski comes, misses up and away.
Big spot here for Webb, and this is a ball that you really want to drive if you can, because you want to find a way to get that winning run, or tying run up to the plate, winning run, whatever it may be. You want to chip away here and drive the baseball.
Hits this one on the ground, fielded by Dorian. Shuffles to second, gets one on to first, is in time. No, I believe I missed the call. No, they're going to say he was safe. It looked like he was safe, but I thought I saw the umpire come down. Nevertheless, tough ball to get 2 on, and Dorian can only get the 1 at second. The Pilgrims cut down Heiss, but Ty Duvall comes in on the play, and it's a 10-5 ball game.
Yeah, there you see that flip to second in time, and then Perez's relay just about a half step late. Really close play either way, but Duvall able to score. It's now a 5-run Newport deficit.
So Michael Webb reaches on the fielder's choice, 4-6, and now Cameron Meisner digging in the top of the order, taking strike 1 from Korzybski. 4th earned run against Korzybski so far this season. It's so tough to keep a man from coming in when you start off with a leadoff double. This one hit on the ground, back off the glove of Korzybski. He stays with it, fires to first, in time to get the runner. And credit to him, that one hit right back at him, and it looked like one of those plays where because of the bobble, he wasn't going to end up getting any outs. But he keeps it calm and collected and gets it on to first.
Look at the instant replay there. Kind of just got off his forearm, was able to gather and throw out Meisner by a half a step. Nice stretch there by Sardinas at first. Again, on a close play like that, those are some of the little things that can be the telling tales of a safer and out call. And nice job on both ends, Korzybski and Sardinas, to retire Meisner 1-3 if you're keeping score with us at home.
Sardinas has made a couple of those nice stretches in tonight's ball game. Helps us here to get 2 outs for the Pilgrims. And the first pitch in, a strike to Dashbach. Walked in his last at bat. He's 0 for 2 on the night, striking out and reaching on an error. Runner on second. It is Michael Webb after reaching on the fielder's choice. That one in there on the outside, Black, and it's 0-2. And if you're Gulls hitters and Pilgrims hitters, you got to be going back to the dugout and saying, listen, guys, when you go up there as a righty, beware of that pitch on the outside. It's getting called every time now by the home plate umpire tonight, James Dion. That one in the dirt. It's going to get by Martirano to the backstop, and moving up 90 feet is Webb. And now just has one base path to cross before he comes in as the 6th Newport run. But he's going to need a hit here from Dashbach to come in.
Yeah, it's a big spot here, and Dashbach trying to continue his nice offensive run that he has had in his first few games with Newport. This being his 4th.
It'll be 1-2 now. Korzybski picks and delivers. That one in the dirt. Martirano stops it. And they're going to check to see if he went. And they say he did not. As Dashbach did bring that bat off the shoulder, but was able to hold up.
Thus far for Korzybski, 18 strikes and 7 balls, 25 pitches through 1 2/3.
This one just missing up, and the count has run full. So it'll be 3-2, 2 outs to Dashbach, with Michael Webb over at third, itching to come home. It is a 10-5 ball game. The Pilgrims lead things here at Cardines Field. Payoff pitch from Korzybski. Swung on and missed. Went to the breaking ball and gets Dashbach. Second K of the night for the Gulls third baseman, and we are through 6 here. 10-5, the Pilgrims lead over the Gulls on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here, top of the 7. This has been Quinn Kelly, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, taking you through the middle innings, and I'll turn it back over now to Darren Zaslow to take you the rest of the way.
Thank you so much, Quinn. And Plymouth looking to extend this 10-5 lead here as we go to the top half of inning number 7 and bring Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck back into the broadcast. And Dave, we talked about the NECBL scoreboard. This is the only game going on right now, but here, Plymouth up 10-5 over Newport as Pat Dory, the second baseman, steps in, takes a ball above the letters. Dave, what have you seen thus far? Have you been impressed at least with anything that Newport has shown here offensively?
I'm going to start with Plymouth, I think, and talk a little bit about what I've seen from them, just because, they're up 10-5 in this ball game. Really, it's been getting guys on base, whether it's walks or errors, and then getting those timely hits, especially you've seen it from Sardinas all night. And he's been able to drive in the runners that they're able to do, and Newport has not been able to do that. Some of the things I have seen from them.
This one ripped into right field. It'll roll all the way to the fence and bounce off the base of the fence. Around first, heading for second is Dorian. Here comes O'Regan's throw into second. It's not in time. It gets past Heiss. It's a leadoff double for Pat Dorian here in the top half of the 7th.
I've seen some good at-bats, especially in the beginning of the game. Obviously, from the 3rd to 6th innings, kind of went stale. They kind of got in that mid-game lull. Both teams were kind of asleep offensively, but you see there with that double, things starting to wake up a little bit. They scored a run last inning, so You know, it's a 5-run game. They got 9 outs left. Why not?
We'll see what can happen. Certainly, you know, a very offensive game, and we'll see what Andrew McNeil can do. He's 0 for 3 with a walk, a couple strikeouts. This one chopped to second, gloved on 2 hops there by Webb. Shuffles to his left. He'll throw out McNeil. To third base goes Dorian. 4-3. McNeil is retired for out number 1.
Well, the Pilgrims trying to take advantage of a leadoff double in the same way that the Gulls did in the last half inning. It's a good step by McNeil, just move him along, and now a fly ball from Perez would bring in the run.
Perez here tonight is 0 for 4 with a run scored. He reached on an error in the 6th. 11 hits for Plymouth, just 7 for the Gulls as Mora drops in a curveball there for strike 1. It is 0-1. The Newport infield will play in against Perez. Off of third is Dorian. Morris sets the black glove, letter high, works from the third base side of the rubber, kicks and deals a curveball. This one lifted in the air in the left field. Coming in to his right is Meisner, and he makes the play. Tagging from third home is Dorian. He will score on an RBI sacrifice fly off the bat of Brandon Perez. It is now 11-5 Plymouth.
That's just going up there and getting the job done if you're Perez, and really narrowly missed a hit there, as that was a tough play for Meisner to make. But regardless, you knew you just needed the fly ball. He stepped up and lifts one to the outfield, and with Dorian's speed, gave him plenty of time to get home.
Nice job there from Meisner, and that throw over the head of McGill off the backstop. So it's 11-5 Plymouth. Pat McCall will dig in, the designated hitter, 2 for 4. With a run scored here. A couple singles thus far out of Harvard. Newport's infield will now go back to its normal depth. McCall bats from the left side, wears the red, white, and blue batting glove, swings the all-black bat, stands tall from the left side. First pitch from Mora. This one drilled to deep center field, sends Cabanis back to the fence, looks up, and that one is off the fence. Around second, heading for third is McCall. He will pull in there ahead of the throw from Cabanis. It's a 2-out triple for the cleanup hitter out of Harvard, Pat McCall. Here in the top half of the 7th, still 11-5 Plymouth.
First triple of the season for the Pilgrims, and Pat McCall swinging a big stick there. Third hit of the ball game, and gives the Pilgrims a chance here now to see if Tyler Wyatt can do something with 2 outs and get him in.
Tyler Wyatt has had a very nice night. He's 2 for 3, couple singles, a walk, and 2 runs scored. He's also struck out the first pitch. This one grounded weakly to short. Picked up there by Heiss, shuffles to his left twice, throw to first, inning over. Retires Wyatt by 2 steps. For Plymouth, though, they get 1 run on 2 hits, leave 1 aboard with no Newport errors. We will stretch and come back with the bottom half of the 7th with a score. Plymouth 11, Newport 5. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here to Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. Darren Zaslow with you here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls trail by a score of 11-5. Gabe Snyder, Liam McGill, Cade Cabanis all due up to face their right-hander on the mound for Plymouth, and Drew Korzybski out of East Tennessee State. First pitch misses low, 1-0, and Snyder swings over top of a fastball there. Count evens at 1-1. Here with you here in the broadcast booth alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxow, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, and Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. 1-1 pitch misses in, 2-1 on Snyder. And I got to say, Quinn, this bullpen here for the Pilgrims has been excellent here tonight. Mahan and Korzybski, a combined 3 2/3 innings. They've only given up 2 hits thus far.
Yeah, 2 hits, and it's yielded only a run, and it's given the offense a chance to get the lead back up to a comfortable distance, and has held it right there. And has the Pilgrims in a pretty good spot to get back to 500.
Snyder swung over top of the 2-1 offering to make it 2-2, and he foul tips this one just off the left side of the home plate circle. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gabe Snyder. Newport will be back in action on Wednesday night when they host the Ocean State Waves on Newport Daily News Night at 6:35 p.m. A free bicycle will be given away courtesy of 10 Speed Spokes. 2-2, misses low and in. Now 3-2, the count pushes full on Snyder. Tomorrow night, the Gulls will travel westward over to Western Connecticut to take on the Danbury Westerners at 6:30 p.m. from Rogers Park. Payoff pitch. This one line past the dive of the shortstop Perez into left center field. A base hit. Gabe Snyder with his first hit of the season for Newport. He is now 1 for 4, brings up Liam McGill.
Good bit of hitting there, and good bid made by Brandon Perez, but so tough when it's coming at that speed. You can get to the spot, but to get the glove at the right level and on the dive to know how high the hop's going to be, and really a tough play to field it. And credit to Snyder, who gets his first hit of the ball game, first hit of the season, as you said, and has the Gulls on their way to picking up a run with the leadoff man aboard.
Liam McGill, he's 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. He's also popped out and has gone down on strikes in this one. Korzybski sets and deals. Check swing from McGill. They say he went around. It is 0-1. Fans making some noise here at the ballpark here on Tiverton Little League night. Korzybski sets the black glove, letter high, 0-1 offering, skipped in the dirt. Nice block by Martirano, who's the new catcher behind the plate for Plymouth.
I'll tell you, fans doing a great job of cheering on, but it just makes me yearn for the Irish exchange students to arrive. When they come in and they fill the left field bleachers, that's the best thing going in the NECBL.
There you go.
No, raucous soccer chants. Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm with you on that one. 1-1. Chopped foul weekly left side, 1-2 now on Liam McGill out of Columbia. Korzybski doing a nice job here tonight. He's thrown 2 innings, has allowed 1 earned run on 3 hits. He's struck out 3. He's faced 9 batters. Korzybski getting ready to throw pitch number 38. Off of first is Snyder. The pitch on the way. Change up. Another strike there on the outer edge.
It appears they said he didn't go around on that first pitch of the at-bat, which is a bit surprising. I mean, didn't even give the check. Martirano asked for it, but the home plate umpire, James Dion, not giving it to him, and it looked from up here like he had.
Count 2-2 on McGill. Now he goes down looking on the next pitch for strike 3. Second time McGill has gone down on strikes tonight. McGill now 1 for 4. We'll see what Cade Cabanis can do. He's 0 for 3. The center fielder out of Oklahoma State. Bats in the number 5 spot.
And McGill kind of handcuffed there, being the catcher. You're always in a tough position to try to argue balls and strikes. But that outside black starting to get a bit generous here as the game wears on.
Cabanis stands tall from the left side with a slightly open stance. Snyder with a nice lead over there at first. Runner goes. Pitch swung on and missed. Throw to second for Martirano. Not in time as Snyder loses his helmet there. It's a stolen base for Gabe Snyder as he went in there hard with a head-first slide into the bag.
That's a good job by Snyder. You get that unproductive first out. You don't move the runner into scoring position, so he goes right out there and says, I'm going to get myself in a scoring position, and moves up. Good straight steal there. And really just taking advantage. Korzybski, like a lot of these Pilgrims guys, don't really have a quick movement to the plate.
Korzybski out of the stretch, the 0-1 pitch. Backdoor curveball in there for strike 2 on the outer edge. 0-2 on Cade Cabanis.
That's a nice pitch right there from Korzybski. The breaking ball has looked really good for him. Coming with that 12-6 curveball, and he's had it going tonight.
Korzybski tucks the black glove on that left hip as he gets the sign from Martirano and deals a fastball. It's fouled off. Nice job by Cabanis to get a piece. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. It's an 11-5 Plymouth lead over the Newport Gulls. 1 away and a runner on second in Gabe Snyder. Single to lead off the inning and stole second here in the at-bat on the first pitch to Cabanis. The 0-2 pitch. Once again, lifted foul left side. Nice job by Cabanis to spoil that one. The fog continuing to settle in here at the ballpark. Korzybski works from the first base side of the rubber to the left-handed hitting Cabanis. Korzybski out of East Tennessee State University. Plymouth tomorrow night will travel out to New Bedford to take on the Bay Sox at 6:30. Snyder extending that lead, now retreats. 0-2 offering, waved at and missed. In the dirt, picked up by Martirano. He throws out Cabanis. Now trying to go from second to third is Snyder. He beats the throw from Sardinas right ahead of the tag from Wyatt. Nice pick on that short hop on the low throw, but there are now 2 away after back-to-back strikeouts to McGill and Cabanis for Liam O'Regan. He is 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored.
And now 5 strikeouts so far for Korzybski. Looking really strong. Kind of an unfortunate break there that Martirano couldn't collect it quick enough to put the tag on. Credit to Cabanis for getting out of the box quickly and giving Snyder a chance to advance on the throw.
This one lined under the glove of the shortstop Perez. He bobbles it and cannot throw out O'Regan. Coming in to score is Snyder. They're going to roll that one, an RBI single for Liam O'Regan. It's now 11-6 Plymouth.
Not a great play there by Perez. You know, as he tries to pick it on the short hop, he kind of turns his head away from it. And hard to see the ball into your glove when you're turning your head away.
So Newport will take it here. RBI single for O'Regan. He is now 1 for 2. Here comes Ty Duvall. He's had a nice game. He's 2 for 3, a single, a double, and 2 runs scored. He'll sky this one in the air, deep left field, sends Brumfield back, reaches up, makes the play about 5 feet in front of the left field fence. So for Newport, that will do it here in the bottom half of inning number 7. For the Gulls, they get 1 run on 2 hits, leave 1 aboard with no Plymouth errors. We're through 7 full innings of play here at the ballpark. Plymouth out in front of the Gulls, 11-6, right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here to the ballpark, Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island, the site for this Southern Division clash in the NECBL between the Plymouth Pilgrims and the Newport Gulls. Plymouth on top 11-6 here in the top half of inning number 8. They'll send up the 6, 7, and 8 spots in this lineup. Brandon Martirano, Chase Cheek, and Hernan Sardinas to face Newport's reliever in Kyle Mora out of UCLA. He's done a nice job. Deals the first pitch over the outside part of the plate for a strike. It is 0-1 on Brandon Martirano, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Takes a changeup now on the inside corner. It's 0-2.
And to break a little bit of news here, it appears as though Martirano is in and Venuto out with an injury. Came up lame and pulled his groin, it appears.
0-2, front door curveball misses low and away, now 1-2. Venuto, a very talented player and big part of this Plymouth squad for past few seasons.
Absolutely, a part of the 2015 team and then now again here in 16 after having a bit of an injury-riddled summer last year.
1-2 waved at and missed for strike 3. Second time tonight Martirano has gone down on strikes. We'll see what Chase Cheek can do, the center fielder out of Duke. He's 0 for 2 with a walk in the second, a walk in the third. He actually scored in the second and the third, so 2 runs scored for Cheek. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a groundout. Mora winds and fires. First pitch misses inside, 1-0. Top 8, 1 away, base is empty, 11-6. Plymouth leads here on a foggy night in Newport, Rhode Island. 1-0 pitch, misses wide, 2 balls and no strikes. There you can see that American flag right on the warehouse down the right field line. That is continuing to wave. Scoreboard is also located down the right field line. It lights up in red, as you can see on your screen in front of you. 2-0, line to left field. Coming on is Meisner. He makes the chest-high grab on the move. 2 down.
That one kind of got him, Meisner, fast there, as you see, kind of bobbing his head back as he makes that catch. That one stung out there by Cheek, but right at him, Meisner in plenty of time to get that.
Well, how about the job of Hernan Sardinas here tonight? 3 for 4. A single, a double, a home run. Sardinas here tonight with 4 RBIs. He's a triple short of the cycle. We'll see what he can do in this at bat as he jumps out of the way of an inside fastball from Mora. It is 1-0.
Certainly a career day, at least an NECBL career day for Sardinas, and it would just be the icing on top here with an out in the inning if he could, or with 2 outs in the inning if he could find a way to make it over to third base.
Oh, the best possible way to do that would be in that deep right center field triangle, or maybe you can hook something down the right field line. 2-0 pitch. This one lined on a hop to the second baseman, Webb, who makes a great diving play and throws out Sardinas. What a play from Michael Webb. Inning over. The second baseman from Rhode Island College, Michael Webb, with a stellar diving stop. 4-3, Sardinas is retired, and there you can see threw him out from a knee on the instant replay. Plymouth is set down in order. 1, 2, 3. We go bottom 8 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Pilgrims are out in front of the goals by 5, 11-6. Don't go anywhere. More NECBL baseball up next. Welcome back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Plymouth Pilgrims as we go to the bottom half of inning number 8. It's Declan Cronin, 6'4", 205 pounds, out of the College of the Holy Cross, a rising junior there in the Patriot League. And here to tell you more about him, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly.
Thank you very much, Darren. Cronin has made 1 appearance so far this season for the Pilgrims, when an inning of work did not allow a run. Did walk a pair of men, but struck a pair out as well on this past season for the Holy Cross Crusaders. He made 17 appearances, throwing 25 innings en route to the Crusaders' first appearance in the NCAA tournament since 1978. Had a 4.68 ERA with a 1.52 WHIP, and was 1-1 on the season. Opponents hitting .245 off him. He struck out 22 in those 25 innings.
We'll see what Kevin Heiss can do. He is 1 for 3. Hitters 8, 9, and 1 due up in the Newport lineup. Kevin Heiss, Michael Webb, Cameron Meisner. Newport trails by 5, 11-6. Bottom 8, the base is empty, no one out for the switch-hitting shortstop, Heiss. Singled back in the 6th. He's also flown out and grounded out in the 2nd and 3rd innings, respectively. So Cronin gets his sign from Martirano. He rocks and fires a fastball. This one chopped to second, picked up there by Dorian, sets his feet. He will throw out Heiss. 1 away, 1 pitch, 1 out for Cronin.
Yeah, that's efficient work from Cronin. You see the Gulls up here now, down 5 runs with 2 innings left to go. They're just going to be up there, and you think they're going to be swinging away, trying to put bats to balls and get some guys on.
Here's Michael Webb. He's 1 for 3. Sort of an abbreviated windup for Cronin. Kind of rocks back and deals. This one bunted foul by Webb. Michael Webb, the second baseman from Rhode Island College. Singled and scored back in the 2nd. He grounded out to short in the 4th and reached on a fielder's choice in the 6th. Bats from the left side here represents the number 9 spot in this Newport lineup. Newport enters the ball game at 3-6. Plymouth at 4-5. 0-1. Big swing and a miss on an elevated fastball there to Webb. 0-2.
Interesting to see him looking to bunt his way aboard for a hit. And just down this many runs, you'd think with 1 out you want him just swing and see if he can't get something more. And chasing a pitch there.
0-2, misses low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Of course, Darren Zaslow with you here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxow, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims. Quinn Kelly, Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. We're all with you here. As a backdoor bender swung on and missed in the dirt there by Webb. Martirano will throw him out at first base, and there's 2 away. Get you the final line on Plymouth reliever Drew Korzybski. He threw 3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 4 hits, struck out 5, did not walk a hitter. He was effective.
Yeah, he absolutely was. That strikeout there for Cronin, the 8th by Pilgrims relievers, 11th overall for the Gulls in the game.
And he gets a fastball over there for a strike against Meisner on the outside. Black 0-1. Meisner 2 for 4 out of the leadoff spot here tonight with a couple singles, a strikeout, and a ground out. Looks at this one in the dirt now, 1-1.
And for as high as some of the pitch counts have gotten for the Pilgrims, and really on either side, all of these pitchers are throwing strikes. You know, I don't think anybody has a bad ball to strike ratio. It's just guys working long at bats, fouling things off and such.
And they're getting ahead as well. So that's something else to kind of keep in mind here when you look at these numbers and the high pitch counts. It's been a dual effort here on both sides of the baseball. 1-1. Curveball drops in for a strike there. 1-2. So Declan Cronin, 6'4", 205 pounds, resides in Woodland Park, New Jersey. Out of Holy Cross, kicks and deals the 1-2. Fouled off by Meisner. Nice job to get a piece. He stays alive. We're in the bottom half of inning number 8. There are 2 away. Base is empty. It's an 11-6 Plymouth lead over the Newport Gulls here on Tiverton Little League night. And the 1-2 offering from Cronin on the way. Once again, fouled off left side by Meisner, just late on that offering. We'll bring Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck back into the broadcast. Dave, what have you been seeing thus far?
I just was looking at the stat sheet, and I want to ask you guys a question. If you were to guess which starting pitcher came out first, who would you guess?
What if I know the answer? Who came out first, like chronologically?
Like, who came out of the game first? We'll wrap up this inning. I want you guys to answer that question without looking at the stat book.
We'll get back to you with that answer in the next inning as Meisner goes down on strike. Second strikeout of the contest for Cronin here in his first inning of work. For Newport, they go down in order 1, 2, 3. We're through 8 full innings of play here at the ballpark with a score. Plymouth 11, Newport 6 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Newport Gulls. They're going to go to the right-hander who started at second base here tonight. Michael Webb out of Rhode Island College. Michael Webb, 5'9", 170 pounds. This is his second appearance on the season for the Newport Gulls. And Webb, in his previous outing, through 4.1 innings pitched, gave up just 2 earned runs, has a 4.15 ERA. He walked 5 and struck out 6. Opponents are hitting .267 against him. Also into the ball game now for Newport is Tyler Green entering at second base. And for Plymouth, 9, 1, and 2 due up in the Pilgrims order. Connor Brumfield digs in, takes the first pitch he sees for a strike. It is 0-1, and Gulls field reporter Dave Peck asked us an interesting question. We'll get to that after this fly ball is called, and it's the left fielder Cameron Meisner who reaches up, puts it away, moving to his right for out number 1. Dave, you asked which starting pitcher was removed from the game first, and I think Quinn Kelly, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, had an answer for you.
So, in terms of who had a shorter outing, Ben White had the shorter outing.
He did.
Neither of these guys had a long outing. It was, what, 2 2/3 for Palmer and 2 1/3 for White?
Yep. Which, for me, it's so surprising because Ben didn't have that bad of an outing. He gave up 3 earned runs, and he came out before Palmer came out, which I think is a huge mistake. You know, and that's part of the reason why this team, as in Newport Gulls, have just been chasing Plymouth all game. You know, it's 7 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings. Just isn't going to get it done. You got your tail between your legs the entire game and trying to dig out of it.
Pinch hitter Eddie Hart grounds this one weakly to third. Picked up there by Dashbach, and he will throw to first in time to retire the speedy Eddie Hart out of UMass.
I feel like you don't see that often, though. Like, am I crazy? Like,
no.
you don't see that often. Like,
No, and it was just because of the Gulls, despite obviously now being in a 5-run deficit, they were working the at-bats, and if I'm not mistaken, Ben White had about 75 pitches when he came out.
Yeah, well,
so
that
pitch count was really, really high for him.
That's very, yeah. Both pitch counts were probably over 70. Like you said, I think Palmer was up in the 80s. I mean, it was crazy. The first 2 innings took about an hour and a half, and then kind of the offenses stalled out for a little bit. And
yeah, all the umpires here meeting here to see if that ball was hit off Eddie Hart's foot. He says that it was, and they're going to say that he is out. Home plate umpire James Dion making the final call. He met with field umpires Tom Carey and Timothy Rosso. Dion there saying that Hart is out. He is retired 5-3. Brings up Andrew McNeil, the right fielder out of Stetson. McNeil 0 for 4 with an RBI, a walk, and a couple strikeouts. He bats from the left side against Webb, who winds and fires. Fastball fouled off left side, 0-1 on McNeil. We're in the top half of the ninth, 2 outs and the base is empty. It's an 11-6 Plymouth lead over Newport here on Tiverton Little League night.
But not a terrible game offensively for the Gulls. I mean, it's not over yet. I understand that, but 6 runs is better than they were doing early on.
This one drilled to deep right field. Going back is O'Regan, and that ball is gone. How about that? A solo home run off the bat of Andrew McNeil gives Plymouth a 12-6 lead here in the top half of the ninth.
And that one, just a line drive that barely snuck over the wall. I mean, hit very, very hard on a hanging breaking ball from Webb. But really just getting over that 28-foot wall. And for a guy in Andrew McNeil who only had 2 home runs in the whole season this past year for Stetson, nice to see the power come a little bit there.
That ball was well struck off the bat of McNeil. Perez now up at the dish. Perez here tonight for the Pilgrims. He is 0 for 4 with a run scored, an RBI, couple strikeouts. First pitch lined over the leap of the shortstop Heiss in the left center field, a base hit. Around first and taking a wide turn is Perez. He will retreat back to the bag. Perez now 1 for 5 this evening, and it is the 13th hit of the night for the Plymouth Pilgrims.
The DH, number 30, Patrick McCall.
Brings up the designated hitter in Pat McCall. He is 3 for 5. 2 singles and a triple, also has scored a run. Off of first is Perez, as Webb drops in a curveball there on the outer edge for strike 1. 12-6 Plymouth here over Newport. Webb works out of the stretch from the first base side of the rubber. Pitch on the way. Fastball lifted in the air, left side. It'll get out of play. 0-2. Now on McCall. The Gulls trail by 6. 13 hits for Plymouth, just 9 for Newport. The Gulls have also committed 3 errors in this contest. Webb sets and deals. Once again fouled off left side by McCall. He stays alive. And Quinn, when you look at things offensively for Plymouth, 13 hits has to be close at least to setting a season high offensively. And that's what Plymouth, I think, needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest thing for me to take away as the Pilgrims get their first double-digit run production evening here in the NECBL season that's really approaching about a quarter of the way through. The biggest thing is that they've spread these runs out over the course of the ball game. You know, they have scored in 5 innings. They've had 3 multiple run innings. And for a team that's had, 8-run performances, 7-run performances before, usually it's a couple runs early in the ball game and then very silent for the latter portion. But they've kept the offense going throughout tonight's ball game.
Wild pitch there from Webb. Moves Perez into scoring position at second base. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Webb was ahead 0-2 of the cleanup hitting DH out of Harvard and Pat McCall. Off of second is Perez, takes the walking lead as Webb works out of the stretch. He sets and deals. Swing and a miss, strike 3 in the dirt. McGill will throw out McCall, and the inning is over. But for Plymouth, they get 1 run on 2 hits, leave 1 aboard with no Newport errors. The Gulls will take their hacks here in the bottom half of the 9th inning, trailing by 6. It's 12-6 Plymouth here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fans, stay.
New pitcher on the mound for the Plymouth Pilgrims here in the bottom half of the 9th. They're going to go to the right-hander, Connor Speed, out of Bates College. And Connor Speed, 6'1", 175 pounds, resides in San Diego, California. He's a rising senior in the NESCAC. And speaking of the NESCAC, Newport Gulls field reporter Dave Peck, what do you got to say about him?
I was going to say he's from Bates, a Bates Bobcat, an obvious rival of the Bowdoin College Polar Bears, and I was hoping to say that the Polar Bears were able to beat him this season, but I can't say that because the Bobcats edged us out 3-2 on the year, which is a little disappointing, in 10 innings though. So, a close game, obviously a good player if he's here in the NECBL. Funky delivery, as I understand they call him Funky.
They do. That is Connor's nickname amongst the team, Funky.
Submariner. Gets in a fastball there for a strike. It is 1-1 after falling behind. Dashback 1-0. Dashback here tonight 0 for 3 with a walk. Next pitch runs wide. It is now 2 balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom half of the 9th. The base is empty. No one out. 12-6. Plymouth leads over Newport. Next offering. This is high. 3 balls and 1 strike. The Submariner falls behind Dashback.
And perhaps being a conference foe of them, you can speak a little bit to the defense in the conference and for Bates specifically.
Just want a broken back grounder up the middle and bobbled there by Hart on the transition from the glove to the throwing hand. We'll see how they want to roll it. It's going to be an error on Hart. And for Plymouth, that's their 2nd error of the night. Dashbach is aboard here. Brings up Gabe Snyder, the first baseman. He's 1 for 4.
I will say that the NESCAC's primarily it's a pitcher-dominant league. It's so cold up there. Just the bats, just offensive is few and far between as far as scoring runs. So it's pitcher-dominant league. He went 1-7 on the year, which isn't great. But I mean, you're facing so many tough players up there that you can't read too much into that.
The thing that I find so interesting about him is that he's got a career mid-3s ERA. He's given up over his career 88 runs, but only 53 are earned. That's an awful lot of unearned runs to come in, so you question the defense behind him.
Honestly, I think part of that is just, especially in Maine, Bates, Bowdoin, Colby, whatever, other NESCAC schools, the fields are in such poor condition because of the snow that's usually there until late April. So these infielders have it tough. It's mud out there, and it's a lot of bad hops, so.
Eddie Hart now into the ball game at second base, and Snyder goes down on strikes there on 3 pitches. Nice job by Speed, and that's his first strikeout of the night. We'll see what Liam McGill can do, the catcher out of Columbia. He is 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored.
6th strikeout of the season so far for Speed, who has been really strong. Coming into tonight, 3 appearances, 4 1/3 innings worked, and no hits against him, no runs either.
McGill looks at a fastball up and away for ball 1. And we will see what Liam can do. Stands tall from the right side. Speed works out of the stretch. That's the red glove, shoulder high, 1-0 pitch. In there for strike 1. It is now 1-1 here at the ballpark. 1,567 your total attendance on Tiverton Little League night. Once again, 1,567. This one crushed down the right field line, and that one will drop just foul off to the right side of the foul line. Very close. Tough to see where that one landed, and there's the instant replay, and you can see that the right fielder, McNeil, gave it a look.
So that had to have hit the building, right? I'm not mistaken in saying that that represents the foul line once it starts. Correct?
Yeah, there's very limited room there down that right field line. It probably ricocheted off that building. That ball basically disappeared. Kind of tough to see where it actually landed, but the umpires there on the field have a better view than we do. So it's 1-2 on Liam McGill. Off of first is Dashbach. He reached on an error. Pitch on the way, misses. High back pick from the catcher, Martirano, not in time, as diving back in safely as Dashbach.
We talked about this a little bit back in Mystic in Martirano's first start as a catcher for the Pilgrims. He's not afraid to throw it around, and he's been a guy coming out of high school, one of the top-ranked catchers in the country. He's got a great glove, but he's bouncing a lot of throws in of late.
2-2 line to the shortstop. Perez, he will throw back to first to double off Dashbach. That's the ball game. Your final score, Plymouth 12, Newport 6. McGill lines one there to the shortstop. Perez, Dashbach too far off of first to get back. And that is a double play, 6-3. To end the ball game. Don't go anywhere. The Newport Gulls post-game show is up next. Again, your final score, Plymouth 12, Newport 6. Plymouth improves to 5-5. Newport falls to 3-7. This is the NECBL Broadcast Network. Welcome back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Newport falls to Plymouth tonight by a final score of 12-6. For Plymouth, 12 runs on 13 hits. They make 2 errors. For Newport, 6 runs on 9 hits. The Gulls make 3 errors. Grabbing the win for the Plymouth Pilgrims tonight was the right-hander, Drew Korzybski. Korzybski threw 3 innings, allowed 2 earned runs on 4 hits. He struck out 5. He did not walk a hitter. He faced 13 batters, and for Newport falling to 0-2 on the season is David Palmer. Allowed 7 earned runs on 7 hits over 2.2 innings pitched, struck out 4 and walked 4. Palmer, the right-hander out of the University of New Haven, faced 20 batters. We welcome you back here into the broadcast booth. Darren Zaslow with you here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Joined alongside Newport Gulls scorekeeper Ben Maxoud, the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, and Gulls field reporter Dave Peck. Quinn, when you look at this ball game, you wouldn't think that Plymouth had the worst offense in the NECBL coming into play tonight with that 189 batting average, 12 runs on those 13 hits. That was the story of the ball game.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and we talked about it ahead and off air, is that both of these teams having such bad offenses so far to start the season doesn't really tell the story. There's a lot of talent up and down both of these lineups, and a combined 18 runs shows it for you. For the Pilgrims specifically, it was good to see some of the guys get it going, namely Hernan Sardinas, who has to walk away with the MVP of the game. 5 RBIs for him on 3 hits, had a fantastic game, even hit the ball hard on plays he was getting out on. So it was good to see the offense come alive, and like I said a little bit earlier, to kind of spread the run production out over the course of the ball game.
We'll get you through your final offensive totals, and leading the way was Sardinas. He went 3 for 5, like you mentioned. Also, you can't forget about Pat McCall, who went 3 for 6 with a run scored. He struck out twice. Also having multi-hit games was Tyler White. He went 2 for 4, along with Connor Brumfield. He went 2 for 5. For Newport, pacing the offense was Cameron Meisner, the leadoff man out of the top of the order, went 2 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. Gabe Snyder, Liam McGill, Liam O'Regan, Kevin Heiss, Michael Webb all had 1 hit apiece. And then Ty Duvall really had a great game as well. He was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. He, again, really starting to find the rhythm at the plate, the catcher out of Vanderbilt University. So, some positives here for Newport offensively, Dave. Again, Newport falls to 3-7, kind of a little bit of a rough start here. But again, I think the main message here, and maybe what Al Leyva, Newport manager on the field, is saying to these guys right now, it's early on. But how long can you keep saying it's early on? That's my question to you.
That's a great point, because that's what I was about to ask you. We've been saying it for 10 games now. It's early. It's early. Well, it's about a quarter of the way through the season. So if you're going to turn it on, you got to turn it on soon. I understand that these guys are still coming back. We still have a few players that are still playing in the NCAA tournament. But, these guys can play baseball. There's no excuse for them. 6 runs isn't bad, but when you put it with a bad pitching performance and giving up 12 runs to Plymouth, it just doesn't help the mojo of this team going forward.
You make an interesting point, and then tomorrow night, it gets no easier for this Newport team. They're going to travel out to Danbury, Connecticut to take on the Westerners, a team that is 2-0 against Newport this year. For Plymouth, they're going to go out on the road against New Bedford. This Southern Division, a lot of talent, really not a lot of difference, especially when you look at those standings, at least entering play here tonight. And when you look at this, 2 games separates the second-place Westerners and the last-place Newport Gulls. That's how this division has been. And again, remember, the top 3 teams on each side make the playoffs. So for a team like Newport right now, Dave, that bodes pretty well when you look at it.
It's definitely not panic time. Don't get me wrong. It's not panic time. They're 3-7. Everything's going to be fine. We know that they're going to get out of the basement at some point. They're better than this. The program historically just does not finish last, and I don't know how much longer you can kind of fall back on history, but for the time being, that's what you got to think Coach Al Leyva is saying to these guys, saying keep your heads up, just keep trusting the process. And it becomes a cliche at a certain point, but it's the truth. Baseball is such a weird game, and that the harder you try, sometimes the worse you do. So you just got to keep kind of staying level-headed and getting to the ballpark, taking your batting practice seriously, doing your job, having good at-bats, which they did today. Both teams did that, and that was the thing. Both teams had good at-bats, but the Plymouth Pilgrims were able to kind of capitalize on more. And, again, there were errors and walks from the Gulls that certainly didn't help things. But you had Sardinas, who was able to kind of hit you in the mouth a couple times, and then you were coming from behind basically the whole game.
Quinn, I'll kick things over to you for your final thoughts on this ball game. Again, a very nice victory for the Plymouth Pilgrims. Any final thoughts from you?
Well, just to go back to what you were saying about it being early and how much longer can you say, it's early in the season. And until somebody really steps up in the Southern Division, you still kind of have that crutch to fall back on for both the Pilgrims and the Gulls. The Pilgrims now with 2 in a row, starting to get things back on track, and that's great. And the Gulls will most certainly, as we've said historically they do, they're going to figure it out at some point. And just because nobody's really stepped up in the Southern Division outside of Ocean State Waves, you're still in an okay position. Both of these teams, it's right there for them. You string a couple more wins together, you get second place all to yourself, and there you go. You're making a run for the playoffs. So it is early, but we are approaching a quarter of the way through the season, and this one a good win for the Pilgrims. Matched their win total against the Gulls last season. They went 2-4 and just had 1 win against Cardine. So nice to get it out of the way here on their first trip down to Newport.
Plymouth victorious over the Gulls, 12-6. For the voice of Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, I am Darren Zazzle. We'll go down to the field to wrap things up. We'll kick the postgame show over to Ben Maxout and Dave Peck right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Thank you, Darren. Once again, your final score from Cardine's Field. The Plymouth Pilgrims beat the Gulls by a score of 12-6. The losing pitcher on the night for the Gulls is David Palmer, who went 2 2/3 innings, giving up 7 earned runs on 7 hits, walked 4, and struck out 4. The winning pitcher for Plymouth, Ben White, he went 2 1/3, allowed 5 hits, giving up 3 earned runs, 4 runs total, walking 1, and striking out 3. Next up for the Gulls, tomorrow they'll head to Connecticut to face the Westerners in Danbury. The Westerners currently are 5-5 on the season and hold a second-place spot in the Southern Division standings, right behind the Ocean State Waves. We'll take you through those standings real quick. The Ocean State Waves, like we've been saying, kind of have a control on this division right now. They're 6-1. They have a 2.5 game lead on the Westerners, who follow them with a 5-5 record, tied with the Pilgrims now that they have beaten the Gulls 2 times here this season. After them is the 4-4 New Bedford Bay Sox and the Mystic Schooners 3-5, followed by your Newport Gulls at 3-7. And if you were listening earlier, we talked about how much longer can you make excuses for this team's inability to put together a full game. We've seen them have great pitching performances with poor offense. We've seen them be able to score runs like they did a few nights ago and not have a great pitching performance. And it was kind of similar tonight as you saw a quick 7-run first inning from Plymouth. And really what hurt David Palmer in the second and third innings were walks, as he had back-to-back base on balls in the third, and then a couple of tricky infield singles that really can be a backbreaker for your team. You know, it was one rolling down the third base line and no runs scored, but it's just one that as a pitcher, after you walk 2, you get a good pitch, get a ball on the ground, and no one's able to make a play. Not that it was an error, but that's just a backbreaker. We call that kind of rolling into the Bermuda Triangle when it gets between the pitcher, the third base, and the shortstop, or the pitcher, first base, and the second baseman for that matter. And then after that, like we said, you know, they had good hitters in Pat McCall, who was able to go 3 for 6 on the day with a couple of RBIs, and obviously Hernan Sardina, who you got to give the MVP to, as Quinn said earlier. He had a big home run in the first or second innings. That was a 3 RBI blast from him, and then the double that added 2 more runs for the Pilgrims in the 6th inning. So, you know, you got to give them credit. They were able to put 12 runs against this good Newport team, and just not your ideal game, I would say. We're awaiting Darren Zaslow down at field level, and he is ready, as we are going to send it down to the Newport Gulls broadcaster. Darren, down to you.
Welcome back here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Newport Gulls post-game show continues here field level at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island, as Newport falls to the Plymouth Pilgrims by a final score of 12-6. David Palmer takes the loss. The right-handed starter out of the University of New Haven falls to 0-2. Plymouth with 12 runs on 13 hits. The offense was the story in this ball game. Ty Duvall, the catcher out of Vanderbilt, goes 2 for 3 here tonight with a couple runs scored. He paced Newport's offense that ended up recording 9 hits here tonight. Once again, Newport falls to Plymouth 12-6. The Gulls fall to 3-7 on the season. Plymouth improves to 5-5. Tomorrow night, the Gulls will head westward over to Danbury, Connecticut, when they will take on the Westerners at Rogers Park. But before we sign off, we'd like to thank everyone who has played a role in this one. Tom Lima is the executive producer. Shannon Carlson is the producer. Your associate producer is Shannon O'Connell. Audio technician Lucas Malley. The on-site engineer is Sam Salinger. The production assistant is Colin McGuire. The social media coordinator is Meredith Pepis. The statistician is Ben Maxoud. Newport Gulls field reporter is Dave Peck. And for the voice of the Plymouth Pilgrims, Quinn Kelly, I am Darren Zaslow saying so long from the city by the sea.
Thank you, Darren. Again, 12-6, your final score here in Newport. Next game at Cardines Field will be this Wednesday, as the Gulls will face the first place 6-1 Ocean State Waves in the first game of the Pell Bridge Series here in the 2017 season. We're going to send it right back down to Darren for one more closing in just 1 minute, but that will be an exciting one, as it'll be really a good test for Newport. And it looks like Darren is going to close things up, so I'll wrap it up here. Again, your final score, 12-6. The Gulls fall to the Pilgrims here at Cardines Field.